What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best brutal new death hard slam grind thrash core metal show. I am one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horskow. With me, I have my partner in crime, always overheating, hates the weather, Mr. Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
I'm great.
You're just lying, great. Or you're just great? Where's the cocktail? No cocktail?
Next to me.
Oh, okay. All right. So this week, we are doing a deep dive on the upcoming album, Learning to Dissolve, by the band Orthodox. So who better to have on than the entire band themselves? First time. So I'm going to go around the room, introduce yourself, starting with you, our irregular, regular, Mr. Adam Easterling.
Hey, guys. I won't talk about System of a Down this time.
No, we're definitely dragging the conversation into System of a Down and the John. What was it? John and what's his name? Serge played that. They were in Mexico somewhere, and the band was covering aerials, and they rolled up. And did you see that video? Or am I totally?
Yeah, they smashed it.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, it was
sick.
Here's the thing: is every miserable, awful, unwatchable System of a Down video gets sent to me, and then the ones that are actually worth the shit, nobody sends to me.
Because it's more humorous to send you the trashy ones. All right, Austin,
I guess so.
Introduce yourself.
What's up? Name's Austin. I play guitar in the band. Yeah, what's up?
And I'm going clockwise. We have Shiloh.
Hey, what's up? I'm Shiloh. I play bass in Orthodox. And I don't do podcasts.
This is Shiloh's first podcast ever. This is his first interview with the band.
Yeah, they twisted my arm. They gave me an ultimatum.
They usually just lock you somewhere and say, stay out of the public eye.
No, normally I run and hide, but they caught me on this one, so here I am.
We told him we were going to backtrack his bass if he didn't do it. So.
Yeah.
Give him the Newstead treatment, remix the album and put it down to like nothing. And last but not least, Mike White.
Yep, play drums. I've actually spoken with Tim before on Ill Street.
Yes, sir.
Was that last year and a half ago? Yeah.
Like 2020.
Yeah. Mike,
2 years
how many
ago.
bands are you in now? About 14?
Just 13, Tim.
By the end of this interview, it'll be up to 16.
I'm cutting back.
I don't know how you do it, man.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we typically do, which is dive in song by song. But first, I wanted to start with, this is you guys' first album for Century Media. So how did that come about?
In regards to how did you
get hooked up with Century Media? Like, how did you, Mike Gitter's your A&R guy? How did that all come to pass?
He came up and spoke to me. I don't know if he came to anybody else first, but he came up to me. We played Chain Reaction on tour with Spite and Varials in 2020. And he came up to me and was like, hey, yeah, you guys are great. I work for Century Media and I sign bands. And then he was in our email like a week later, and we kept talking with him throughout the start of the pandemic. And that summer he sent us a contract. So
nice. That's good stuff. So serendipity, all about serendipity.
It's weird. Like we talked before, like not saying it's a weird signing, but like growing up, because I'm 38, Jay just turned like 52. So
come on, man, 54, get it right.
But like Century Media, like all the comps back then, it was like Iced Earth, Cryptopsy, stuff like that. So it's cool to see a band like you guys getting recognition from a label like that.
Yeah.
Great label too, man. I mean, they just,
because I used to see all like the old like Suicide Silence videos and like Ion Dissonance and shit. And then I was just like, it's kind of weird because you see the little logo, and then like now that little logo is on your videos whenever they come out, and it's really strange how that sort of works out,
super
man.
Fulfilling for you guys as a band,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, what you start out on Unbeaten, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, great label, but to go from that to Century Media, I mean, it's a huge leap, and it's really fucking impressive to see like a band. Not saying like you guys are some small band, but a band in like people will consider you a hardcore band. So going from Unbeaten to them, I mean, it's huge, man. It's got, like I said, it's got to feel great.
Yeah, it's
feels great.
The process itself it's kind of crazy because you think by your third LP, you kind of have it somewhat figured out in terms of the rollout, but going from Unbeaten, which is essentially a DIY label where Buddy is able to make it very professional, To go from that to like a label where it was bought by Sony for like millions of dollars, and everything is super official, run everything through the Orchard, all that kind of stuff. Like it's been very, very humbling and eye-opening, all the shit that I did not know, and how many I've sent more emails for this record than I think I ever have sent for this band collectively, like the 9 prior years. Like it's been unreal.
I guess legal shit and all that kind of stuff, and
legal shit. And they have so many departments, and it's like every person covers so many different things. And they also are not, which is part of the reason why they were so appealing for us, was they are not super hands-on. They kind of want you to take the reins and handle shit and call them when you need them. And it's great because it means that the next record I'm going to be exceptionally prepared. I've already talked with our manager about like, hey, we're going to do this, 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 and this before we ever even hit the studio. And he's like, yep, that'll be great. But yeah, it's felt like crunch time for about 9 months now. So.
And that was going to be one of my questions, right? Because you hear all these horror stories about labels fucking with bands and, changing what they deliver. And, Tim's favorite Megadeth album, Risk, is a story behind, it's absolutely fucking terrible. I made Tim listen to that. He made it through one song. But you hear all these horror stories about labels fucking with the band. And it sounds like you guys, they pretty much just said, hey, we want to sign you, but we're going to let you do your thing, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Definitely set up for success for sure.
Awesome. Tim, we got anything else before we dive in?
No, let's do it.
So I will start off with this. This is by far you guys' most mature album to date. I went back and listened to everything from the beginning and worked my way forward. And so we have an episode. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Tomorrow night we have an episode coming out, which is our mid-year report for 2022. And Tim and I both went on about this album for like 15 minutes. So we're not supposed to talk about this, but we heard it and we fucking love it.
Awesome.
But in all seriousness, like this is not only your most mature, but I would dare say your most cohesive album to date, if that makes any sense. And when we go through song by song, I mean, I got a whole shit ton of notes here. But it's the rare album, and I don't say this because you're just in the podcast. It's a rare album where I don't get fucking bored. You know how like some bands fit into that. They fit into that rhythm where, okay, track 1 is a banger, track 2 is about 2 steps off track 1. Track 3 is a little bit slower. Track 4 is your ballad or your slow song. Then you kind of trigger. You guys go in a different way. I'm going to argue and say that one of the best songs in the album is buried deep in the B-side. I actually think you should open with it live. But it's not. Tim, what are your thoughts? I was never bored to the point where I kept listening to it because I had to make notes. And every time I went to take notes, I got pulled into a goddamn meeting. But that's by far not a boring album in any way, shape, or form. What do you think, Tim?
I'll say right now, as of right now of this recording, it is my album of the year. It is just a punishing fucking display of power. Like,
all right,
I know that I guess that sounds like the Pantera bullshit, but like, it's just punishing, dude. And every song just beats your ass. And I love it. Like, just starting out the record the way you guys did, I was just like, wow. And then Jay said, you would think you get to like track 8, 9, and you're like, because there's a lot of records where you listen to and you're like, by track 8, you're like, all right, I can go to the next record. But we're at track 11 and it's still beating the shit out of my ears.
Yeah.
Like you guys.
Yeah.
And like Jason, not just because you guys are on here and I'm, friends with Cubbies, but like the fucking album is amazing, dude. Like, I'm blown away how good it is.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of bands get deep into the B-side and they're like, shit, do we have any like recordings we can scrape off the studio floor, like kind of flesh this thing out?
Right.
It doesn't sound like that. Like it literally sounds like every song was picked and said, okay, put this in a row. And funny aside, Tim and I are in a Slack group with a bunch of friends and we all talk music. And we've been going on about this album for weeks now. And the one guy today was all pissed off. He's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you guys keep talking about this goddamn album. I can't even listen to it yet. So either share your copy or stop talking about it because we're sick of hearing about it.
I just do it on purpose at this point.
That's great.
Fuck you.
Welcome.
No, and I just want to say, like, the drum. Obviously, Mike knows how I feel about his drum work. Like at the show, I was just like fucking fanboying the shit out of him. But like the guitar work in this record, dude, like it's really fucking good. Like the step up from the album before is just. Not saying the guitar work on the album before was bad, but yeah, this record, man, just hits me in a whole different way, dude. I fucking love everything about this record, especially the guitar. Like dude, you fucking killed it, man. Seriously.
Thank
like,
you.
Thank
you.
The moshy part, like I love a band that can write mosh parts that aren't like, oh, here we go, here's the double bass mosh part. Like you guys write the mosh parts where they're just like they stick with you, and people just like you get like that stank face from it. You know what I'm talking about? It's just, dude,
absolutely.
like amazingly well written songs.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm fucking impressed, man.
Yeah.
Really
Thanks,
good
dude.
record.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna
fucking
go ahead and
awesome.
speak up real quick and brag on Mike and Austin because Austin wrote, this is the first record Austin has been involved with for the entire thing. You could, after listening to this record, you could probably go back to the last record and pick the like few songs that he had a hand in, because he has his own like flair for sure. But literally like the first song that he brought to us, we'll get to when we start diving in, but the first song he brought to us, I literally like, I think I called Mike and was just like, yo, are you fucking, do you remember this, Mike? It was 8 years ago, it feels like, but like, I feel like I called you not long after he sent it and was like, yo, this shit is ridiculous.
I was pissed about it because I heard the drums. I was like,
oh yeah, that's right. Dude, no, that's what it was.
God damn it.
Yeah, he sent that. And when we get there, I'll bring up which song it is, but there's the part in it where I literally heard it and I was like, Mike's fucked. Like, there's no chance.
Just instantly mad. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Were you programming drums to it before you were sending stuff, or just you heard the riff and?
Yeah, I mean, like the way the writing process sort of goes is that, like, you know, I'll roughly draw out a skin in my head, like at least towards the beginning stages of writing the record is like, okay, like to be completely transparent, like most of it was written in this room.
Yep.
Like we fucking, like the way that it sort of started was me doing my own thing when it came to writing, just like chilling in here, having an idea that would kind of run through and I'd be like, okay, let's do this. And then like have little skeletons and shit that I would send to the guys and be like, hey, is this like, does this sound cool? Like we went through a lot of different little shimmies with the way that we were going to actually like lay the shit out with, like, because we had moments of being like, like, let's just go fucking crazy. Like, who gives a shit? You know, like, let's just write like the most dumb shit that you could possibly think of. And then like we would get together and then like they would sit on the couch behind me and like we'd pull in chairs and just like sit here and think about shit. And we'd be like, okay, maybe like dial it back like a little bit. Like, cause I would just write shit that just sounds like the world is ending. Like in my brain, I'm like, you know, this is kind of funny. It's kind of stupid, but, and then it got to a point where we were like, all right, maybe that's a little too intense. Let's like actually try and like, you want to have like a little bit of cohesiveness throughout the record as much as you want it to sound like the world is ending as well. You know what I mean? So like it started crazy, then it started to like dial it back a little bit. And then like we found a pretty happy medium, I feel like. But yeah, writing the record was really awesome because, you know, before like Mike drummed for the last record, but like we didn't really have a whole lot of say in what was like going on just because it was like Adam and Dan. And now with this record, it's like we all came together and like sat down and actively were like, hey, we don't like that. Hey, we do like that. Yada, 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 yada. And then it was like actually like the whole band came through at the end of the day to like make this cohesive thing, like actually, you know, together, which is fucking awesome. So
yeah, this process has been, I don't want to say extensive because it really wasn't, but it was. We got to take our time. We got to take our time with it, which was cool because, you know, he's got his setup. He can send us, you know, ABC of song, whatever. And we're like, okay, yeah, no. And then we come down to Nashville. Shiloh and I would come down. For those who don't know, Shiloh and I are both from Ohio, from Columbus. So we would drive 6 hours down, stay for the weekend, hash it out day and night. We would jam some stuff live as well in Austin's basement, just kind of like organically. And then we would, you know, wrap it up on the Sunday and drive back. And we would do that. What would we do? Once
We're doing it once a month.
At least once a month,
months,
yeah.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah. So we would have these consistent writing sessions where it was like, it was nice to get together and kind of bang that out as a collective. Because like, a lot of bands do not do that. You've got members spread across the United States, and we're pretty far, but not as far as like California and stuff where it's impossible. We just get in the car and just zip down there, and it was awesome. It was super comfortable. Like I said before, it was just, we sat on the couch and we would sit there and we would fucking argue, and then
there would be those.
we would argue like hell, and then we would get stoked on something. We'd fucking just jam out to the part and just be like, this is ridiculous, I can't wait to put this out. And it was great.
Yeah, it was definitely
go on.
I was just gonna say, it was definitely one of those cases where like when we started out and Austin was like, yo, like we need to get together and like start working on this record. And we were just like, okay. And it was one of those cases where I was like, well, it feels like we have all the time in the world. And we started like doing the 1 weekend a month going forward. And as we like started putting ideas together and we started being like, okay, trying to get a loose idea of when we want to have this album done, it went from us feeling like we had all the time in the world to being like, okay, we're meeting 1 weekend a month. And if we are going into the studio in this month, then we are getting together 3 more times, and we have to have not necessarily the record done in case we wanted to do some writing in the studio, but like we've got to have the record done. And it went from being like, oh, we have all these months to just bounce ideas off each other to being like making every minute count of the weekends that we were there. And it went from being like Austin said, like we would argue about stuff all the time. Not a single person in this band talks a little bit. Like we all talk a lot. And we all talk our own ideas to death. And so like we would spend time where we would be in Austin's room talking about an idea, and one of us would just be like, yo, it's been an hour. Like we have 3 weekends left. We can't waste an hour splitting hairs.
On a fucking riff.
On a riff or on a drum fill. You know what I mean? Something that's
we're
like
to fight over this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like one riff, one drum fill, and we're about to go at it. And we're like, fuck this. Let's go to the next song. And
and so we would jump around like that, but it went from, like we'd wake up like the next morning and like I'd have the songs in my head and I'd be like, yo, Austin, like let's go to the room and just hit play on it. I just got to hear what we did last night. And then it's like every time we do that, it's just like I always wonder when bands put out incredible records if they know that it's an incredible record. Like I've always wondered that, but I actually know what it's like going into a release being like, yeah, like not to pat ourselves on the back, but like I know this is a good record. There's not like a wondering of like, is it good? Are people going to like it? Like not to be cocky, but I was just like very confident of like these songs rock. And it's easy for me to say that when Austin's writing a majority of the instrumentation and Mike's collaborating on the drum parts, and then you've got Adam, who's an incredible lyricist, and I'm sitting back like watching incredible people do what they do best. And even though I've had a voice in this record from the beginning, I'm the one that can like sit back and be like, yo, like something incredible happened here. Cause I can see it from like the outside almost. I was there for the whole process, but I'm still like not the one that's writing a riff and being like, oh, I just wrote the sickest riff ever. You know what I mean? I can like watch Austin write a riff and I'm like, that is actually incredible. So it went from us like having not a lot of time to being like, oh, I'm so confident in what has happened, where it's like, I am beyond excited to put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it definitely shows that you guys took the time to get together in person and hash some of this stuff out, because there are bands that famously write all their albums remotely, right? I mean, look at Meshuggah, right? Meshuggah basically passes rips back and forth between Martin Hagstrom and Thomas Hack, right? And no offense to them, they really are the GOAT, but you can kind of tell that they're not all in the room together. This album, and again, I go back to, this is the most cohesive album you guys have done to date. It doesn't sound like, there's that famous story, what was it, Satisfaction by Hatebreed, which is, I think it's Betrayed by Life, or one of the last songs. They literally just tossed a bunch of riffs together and said, hey, we got a song. Was it Mark for Death or whatever? Maybe Worlds Apart, but it doesn't. None of those sound like this. None of these songs all sound like they were written as a continuous stream of thought from start to finish. And that's why I keep going back to the album, because I'll be listening and all of a sudden I'll get into a meeting and I'll go back and I go, fuck, where did I leave off? I'll start from the beginning. And no complaints. No complaints. All right, Tim, let's dive in. You ready?
I just want to say too, like, it's a super, I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree, but to me, listening to it and the lyrics and stuff, it's a super dark record. Like, to me, it was like, just how like heavy it is in the lyrics. Like, would you guys say this is a dark like, yeah, okay, I thought so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's why I like it so much, because I like stuff that's just like, I like music that makes you feel like dirty and just fucking like like you get something from it. I'm not saying dirty in a bad way, but like,
Right.
It just makes me feel a certain way. And when I listen to like just like some of the interlude parts, like that you guys said with the clean part, like it's very dark, and it's what draws me into music like this, man, because I can feel the passion coming out of it. And that's what makes me like music the most. Like what Jay said, when people just phone it in, I skip that shit right away. I listen to 2 songs and I'm like, I've heard this breakdown 4 million times. But like this record, like I listen to it and every song, you just get something from it. And it's a huge achievement for a band to do that, man. It's seriously.
Yeah.
Congrats to you guys on this. It's that good.
Really appreciate that, for real.
I also, before we go any further, I feel like I got 2 things I want to say real quick. Can't go any further without giving credit to Randy LeBeau. Like,
I was going to say, the production on this is fucking pristine.
It's pristine.
Like, I think we're talking about the writing process, and realistically, I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever need to go to somebody else again, because Randy was just such a phenomenal hands-on, just a master of his craft. I think if we'd have known what his actual process was going to be, it probably would have eased our room a little bit, because but when you go in, you guys are talking about the cohesiveness and so on. He would literally, how many days did we do pre-pro? Like 5, about the first week or so?
About a week.
Yeah, it was about a week. Yeah.
We actually, we got to the studio in Belleville a year ago yesterday. And the whole first week.
That's
isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah, isn't that weird? I'm thinking about it.
So the whole first week, by the time that we got there, we had, how many songs did we have, Austin? Like 11 to 13,
11.
like full ideas or so.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
And it,
probably like 9 or 10, because we had a few ideas that had to be hashed out, and then like I wrote a few other things when we were there, but
we had probably 9 or 10 songs that had a soft start and a soft end. And Randy would literally pick 3 to 4 songs, and he'd sit in his control room for like 4 hours.
Yeah. And
just hit play, make notes, run it again. And then that night, around later than we honestly ever, I think every time we always planned to be somewhere by an hour in there, we'd probably be an hour late, just because he was always working on something. And we would get in there and he would literally sit down, like, all right, here's what I think about this song. And he'd be like, this part can be here, this can go. He would literally sit there and you'd hear him typing really fast and moving files around and stems around. And just fast as fuck. Never seen somebody work. What's he use? Logic?
Yeah.
Cubase, never seen somebody work it that fast and just moving shit around. Like, here's a really cool idea, do this. And he like gave us such really a fifth voice that I don't think you can not put a value to. Like, he literally, this record would not be what it is without him. And
talk about 100%. A fucking a relaxed ass dude too. Like,
also that
he's so smart, and he's just so like in tune with everything going on, and can like see the vision that's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, because you think about a producer, it's like, okay, like you've worked on countless records, right? Like, and you know that the last thing that we want is to sound like X record. Like, we're trying to put something out that's unique in our own and X, Y, and Z. And if you sit into like a formula where you're just like, okay, yeah, I could just like do the same thing that I did for these other songs that I did for this other band, then like we could just do it that way. But you can tell that he just, with the way he talks to you about the songs and how you bring it to him, like he understands like what you are trying to do. Yep. And it's interesting because whenever he gives you ideas, you're just like, why didn't I think of that in the first place? Like he's just very smart, and but like also just the most like what's up ass dude you've ever met. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he's for
so
sure.
What's up,
fucking cool.
ass dude?
Yeah.
He's for sure very smart and very patient, because like to put up with us
Yeah,
is a
this is
lot.
another thing.
Because we're
Yeah.
all big personalities. Like I said, we don't have that one member that just like sits back and doesn't have a voice. And like he was patient with us, which is like huge, because we are all annoying. And like truly, like if I had to if I had to sit in his chair, I would be texting my other producer friends being like, yo, these guys are annoying. Are the fucking worst. But for real, like, but he didn't show that at all. He was just like, he was just there to like make this record the best it could be for us, and he did that. Like, he's incredible.
He just did the Vatican record as well, right?
Yes.
Vatican. He did the last Kubla Khan EP. He did the new Chamber EP. He's currently recording the new Acacia Strain record.
Damn.
So basically, some of the best stuff that's come out this year, he's touched.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and anybody that can put up with Mike Sugars deserves a Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Before we get to the tracks, like Austin, I want to talk to you about like your like the way you play guitar. So are you left-handed and then it's upside down, or explain that to me real quick?
Okay. Yeah, I'm left-handed. There goes Adam. There's no point in being here for this.
Just wait till they talk about drums. I want to go take a nap.
So basically, I'm left-handed and I play left-handed, but I like was given a right-handed guitar whenever I grew up. So like my dad got me a guitar as more of a like, hey, here's a fucking thing for Christmas. I don't know if you're gonna fuck with it or not. Who gives a shit? But here's that for you. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. And you know, picking it up and playing with it, you know, because I'm not gonna not touch it if my dad gets it for me. It's like it's definitely expensive, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, if I'm gonna learn this feels right, you know, playing it upside down, which I didn't know I was at all. You know, I'm fucking 9 years old. I don't know what's the right way to play a guitar. So I'm like playing and I'm like getting the finger work down. I'm like, all right, this is cool. Like I know what I'm doing. And then like I would go to Guitar Center with my dad, and then like I would have crowds of people just, and like it sounds funny, but like it's just like I would just be playing like Kill Switch riffs and like Metallica riffs and like just through a line 6, and like people would be like, whoa man, like your son's crazy, how does he play guitar like that? And my dad's like socially awkward and he's like, yeah, I mean like he's pretty cool. Like, you know, so and then I would just sit there and play and you know, eventually people would just be like, how does he play like that? And I just thought they were talking about like, how is he so good for being so young? But like they were like legitimately curious as to why I played guitar like a freak. And then I remember there was like one day I was like 14 and I was doing my little fucking rocker thing. I was like playing my guitar and I was like rocking out, and I was like, dude, I better look fucking sweet right now. And like I looked in the mirror.
You still do this?
I do, absolutely. I looked in the mirror in the bathroom and I was like playing, and I noticed that like the orientation of the guitar was just so weird looking. And then like it clicked. I was like, oh, like I literally play guitar upside down. Yeah, and I was like 5 years deep into it, so like I had no idea. But now it's just
late, freak boy.
Yeah, so now I'm stuck. I'm stuck playing like I can play a left-handed guitar. It just doesn't feel right. Like it just doesn't feel, you know, natural to me.
What tuning is the record in?
Drop B.
So all right.
New metal.
I'm glad it's in a drop tuning. So you playing upside down, do you play like the power chords? Like do you start on the 4th, 5th, and then go to the 6th, or do you upstroke everything?
So would you consider the heaviest string the 6th string?
Yes.
Okay, so I would start on the 4th.
See that. All right. Because I didn't want to say this and sound like an idiot, but you can totally hear in your guitar playing like the difference between like me playing right-handed and hitting the 6th string, but you playing the 4th down. Like it gives it a whole different feel, but it's still heavy, if you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because like for me, and I've had this sort of shit happen with other records that I've played on. Like you can tell that I'm playing guitar the way I am, I guess. Like from like a sonical, from like being a guitar player, you can hear that and be like, okay, sonically that sounds a little different than how it normally would, I feel like. So, you know, and I didn't really put two and two together until I had somebody else explain it to me. They're like, yeah, you can tell that you're picking on the fourth or the fifth string first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. I just think it sounds cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if anything, it's a differentiator, right? I mean,
yeah,
you know, unintentionally so.
Right. It's still all the same notes, you know, same chords and shit. So like anybody can play it. It's just I sound fucking sweet and you don't. Sorry. I don't know. Like,
and then live, you guys have a second guitar?
We like to have one. Yes. We don't have a second guitar player as of right now though.
But the second guitar player on the tour that you guys just did that I was at, he plays a regular right hand. He plays right-handed, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't specifically ask for freak show fill-ins.
Yeah. Imagine. Hey, so here are the requirements.
Yeah. Can you play like Max Cavalera and take the two bottom strings off and like everything throws out of tune every song? That's what we're really looking for, you know?
No, you can definitely hear the slight variation in it. I think it adds to the music. So
hell yeah.
nothing wrong with it at all.
That's sick. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's dive in. Track number 1, 4 minutes, 39 seconds. Feel It Linger. Tim?
Like I said at the beginning, man, like right away, you guys just pound it out.
In your face, dude.
In your face, just it doesn't let up the whole song, and I fucking love it, man.
Yeah,
that's the way to start a record out.
Yeah, my initial note right here is starting the record off with a bang. That climbing riff is really impressive. And yeah, that I have in quotes, a tasteful breakdown. And that's one of the things about you guys that when you do play breakdowns, they're not like bolt-ons. You know, like there are bands you obviously know they're like, shit, we got to put like a 2-step part in here.
Yeah, we got to put something here.
We got to put something where our vocalist can say, hey, everybody move. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like natural and it just flows. And the other thing is, this is the first time I noticed this is actually kind of singable, Adam, like this song. And a lot of the songs in this album, like you do a lot of different stuff with your vocals. Like a lot of this, you can actually sing along as a crowd member or as like an audience member, which is kind of fucking cool, right? I mean, I love Defeated Sanity, right? And I'll listen to Guttural Slug until the cows come home. But it is kind of nice to be able to fucking like sing along. Yeah, right. That one album where it sounds like a cricket and a what was it? It was like a cricket and a bullfrog. Just sounds and a baby.
Like straight shit, and it
sounds like straight.
I'm gonna start a tally mark for every reference Jay makes that only Mike gets.
Mike and I are gonna be over here talking about like really obscure, like an organectomy, like slam.
Dude, that new record, yeah,
it's great. It's great. Tim was texting me while driving, like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Go ahead and mark off too.
That's two right there. I'm literally gonna do this. Hold on.
Savage fucking record, man.
But I mean, seriously, Adam. I mean, a lot of you do a lot of different stuff with your vocals this album, and when we get deeper into like some of the later tracks, it makes it more. Honestly, for auditorially, it makes it more interesting because I can never, when my first time listening to the album, I could not tell where you guys were going with each song. Because every time I thought, oh, here comes the mid-paced, here comes the slow one, you went in a different direction. And again, when we go through it, I think that what was it, track 4 through track 8 is the best sequence on the album, which is kind of weird to say, like that deep cut shit. I think that is perfect. I think you guys sequenced it perfectly.
Thank you. Vocally, I'll have to give a ton of credit to Randy as well, because we spent a whole month in the studio, and I may have said this on the podcast before. I fucking hate tracking vocals. Absolutely hate doing it. It's such a second nature thing to perform and be loud as fuck and have a microphone and hear myself over everything, and then your adrenaline's going and you can barely catch your breath, and to take that and then move it to a small corner of a room where I'm screaming and only I can hear the music. It's super quiet and it's under a magnifying glass. Like, it's very uncomfortable. And I came into this because the last record, I listened to it and I don't like the majority of my vocal parts. And there was a couple of songs where like we did some more sing-songy shit, and those turned out okay, but that was kind of like what I wanted to do, was find some way for people to be able to sing along without it being the traditional like big mosh call, hey, kind of thing. And I came to Randy with a lot of these ideas, and almost every time, and I think this is because he studied our old stuff and he was a fan of our old stuff before we got there. Almost every time he would literally look at me and be like, I don't think that's going to work. And I'd be like, let me try. And then we try it, and pretty much every one of them, he's like, you proved me wrong, which was great. And he helped me like get there. And there are certain ones that we'll get to where he would be like, all right, do it again. 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 And we would have 10 vocal tracks on top of each other for stuff. So yeah, he definitely had a huge hand in that. And then I would also give another credit to Austin, is that like when I realized what he was bringing to the table, I was like, I've got to figure out some way to match this, because my vocals are not super intense. So I've got to find a new route to go around it to make it work. And that's kind of where that came from.
And I think it really works. Like, it sets the tone for the whole album, and everybody expects your best song to be first, which I would argue that I think there's some great songs buried in the second half. But it caught my attention right out the gate. I'm like, oh, okay, this wasn't really what I was expecting. Okay, so let's go for it and see what happens. And does nothing but get better. Tim, I cut you off.
I was just gonna say, for that, like, the first song is just it's just an audio assault on all of your senses. And I think that, like, starting out that way, obviously a lot of bands, like Jay said, start with one of their best songs, but it's different here because you get an assault on all your senses on the entire record. So I mean, like, it's kind of hard. Like, I think about it, like, would I put a different song first? Probably not, because I think it's a perfect opener.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Literally, like, when we were doing the pre-pro stuff, I remember Shiloh being like, that's the first song. That's track 1, 100%. And I think we named the pre-pro of that song was NASCAR, just because it hauls ass the entire time.
Yep.
But
that's NASCAR right there. I still know it as NASCAR. I don't know how to feel it linger.
Yeah, I got the Dropbox link pulled up with all the song titles, so that when you guys say one, I can like remember what it is. I got it right there. I got it right there. Don't look at it.
Yep. Like, it's like when you guys write set lists, you were just like, all right, NASCAR first, and then you know what you're talking about. Yeah,
And all the fans are like, what is this?
There's so many. There are so many pre-pro song titles that like literally just don't make any sense. Like, none of it makes sense.
No,
that's where I know these songs from. And we could, you know what? We could even air out every single fucking name for it on this podcast. We'll do it. Feel it linger.
Yeah.
NASCAR. That's
NASCAR,
what it was.
I just want to say too, before we go any further, we don't have to play snippets of songs. I think it's going to just make it harder to put this out. So let's just have the people, you know, when it comes out, they'll hear.
Shout out to your label. They were really great. She was great with getting back to me and trying to clear stuff, but it's not worth the effort. Right, we'd rather just have the conversation go out.
I can't believe I sent a whole 2 emails and you guys are not going to play snippets.
We'll do it. We'll cut them in post.
Okay.
Also, one more thing was now Body and Soul, was that just a single for Century Media to get you guys out there? Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't see it on the record, and I was like, oh, I guess that's just like a single.
Body and Soul was a song that we were probably like. I mean, at that point, whenever it came out, we were probably like 6 or 7 songs deep for like the new record. And we decided on a song that would stick out on its own and like be its own entity that would show progress and obviously progression towards something else. Because you can obviously hear like certain elements of Body and Soul throughout the record, you know, but it's like we wanted a song that would stick out but still sort of have like that earlier Orthodox vibe, like Let It Take Its Course, like Sounds of Lost sort of situation. The Body and Soul was one of the first like skeletons that I ever wrote for the band, like a long time ago, whenever I first joined. So like
long time ago,
dude. Yeah. So when we were sitting down, like one of our writing sessions, like I was just like, I mean, we could expand upon this. I'm torn. I don't really know how I feel about this song. And then like one weekend we just decided to like hash it out completely and be like, yeah, this is a good song by itself, and it still has like the older elements of fucking Orthodox in it. So it's more like a gateway song. It's like, okay, we signed the Century, and like here's what like Orthodox sounds like in the now, but you can see that it's gonna like turn into something else.
Here's what we're bringing to the table. Get ready. This is more of this. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
On when you guys played Body and Soul at where was the first show at again? Underground Arts. My watch went off and said my heartbeat was irregular. Like, right during you know, I don't. Yeah, it's kind of like a two-step part. What are you saying, Adam? What are you saying? What's this, or is that what you're saying? Something like that?
Yeah. Wait, what's this?
What's next?
It's that during that part, which is one of the hardest parts. Like that when you guys played that, I was like, holy fuck, man. But my watch went off and said irregular heartbeat, and I was like, what the fuck? And then
like, I'm good.
I'm like, the fucking song made my watch think that my heart is beating that crazy. It was the craziest thing ever. And then when the next show I went to, it happened again. So it's weird. Like, I guess live music, like some live music will set your Apple Watch off. It's crazy though.
I think that song, Mike being able to crush that in the studio like he did, is kind of what made Austin comfortable really pushing the fucking limits for some stuff. Because I remember when we were writing some of this, I remember Mike literally just sitting there like kind of stressed, just like, we'll fucking see. And then we went
over there sweating.
And we went and recorded it with Tate Mercer in Nashville, and he knocked out that song. Probably took you like an hour, maybe two.
Did not take long.
And chain.
Yeah, and I mean, knocked it out pretty well. And I think that was kind of like where, because that song I would say is up there for, even with the new record, probably one of the hardest songs to play.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. Yeah,
but that song was like the catalyst, I think, for Austin to be like, all right, it's time to go fucking wumbo mode and just go insane on this. So
hey.
All right, so let's go to the first single off the album, track number 2, Head on a Spike. So obviously this passes Tim and I's second song test. For those listeners, for those watchers who aren't familiar, the best way to tell if a band has a good album or not is fast forward to the first song, go right to the second, because obviously they put their best song first. So if the second song is a banger, that's usually a good indication that the rest of the album is going to be great, which, by the way, I might have insulted the guys from Vatican when I said track 2 should have been track 1. But Tom is a notoriously hard character to read, so I might have been okay. But so why this song is the first single?
Because Austin said so.
Yeah. That's right.
Hey.
I think this one has like the super big catchy chorus. It has 2 of the heaviest breakdowns on the record, and
one of my favorite songs on the record for sure. Like, just
in the future, more blast beats, please.
Fuck it, yeah, let's do it, dude.
Fair.
Head on a Spike. Yeah, when we wrote that shit, I was like, dude, we'd do this thing in this room where everybody would just get in here, and then I would just I'd be like, yo, like, you got to hear me out. Like, whenever we play this shit live, it's going to be like, and then I'd fucking just like, shut up. And that, I don't know. I did that for that song all the time.
Body banging.
I can't believe you didn't stomp. Your landlord, when you move out, is going to find like subflooring issues by your computer. Like,
I'd be like, but like, you have to understand my idea. So like, check this out. And just like fucking going crazy in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a barrage, man. I mean, it comes at you.
Like, yeah, exactly. Again, like the beginning is literally just fucking like in your ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking in your face, like, fuck you. And we haven't put, like, if there was any song that I would put as like the introduction to like how I want this record cycle to go, I want it to be something that just like throws you out of your chair. Like, and I just think that song, given the amount of time that you spend listening to it, is just like fucking fuck you. It's literally just a giant fuck you. What's up?
I mean, is this a song that if someone was like, I've never heard your band, what song should I start with? Would this be a song you'd be like, Head on a Spike first?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely a contender. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got it all. It's got the blast beats. It's got the double kick. It's got cool breakdown at the end. Good chorus. It's got a lot to it. I think that was one of the main reasons we picked it, because it starts really jarringly, just double kick right off the bat. Good chorus. It's like, if you don't know what the band is and that's the first one you hear, and like that's the thing that Century is pushing for this cycle right off the bat, that's what we wanted people to hear. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. And then everything else you hear is going to be, understood from that song, hopefully, but some of it may not be. And hopefully that's in a good way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That song was also, when we wrote that one, that was where we developed the phrase big pant jump, because Austin always wrote riffs that we referred to as big pants riffs.
Yes.
Oh,
Jinko jeans riffs, bro. You understand?
Jada's got a pair.
I just bought a pair.
Let's
bought
go.
a pair.
He understands.
Big pants.
That's my man right there.
I don't know how dudes wear those nut hugger things. Like, my shit would overheat. It's like,
Yes.
I need space. Plus,
It
I'm
does.
old and like 48 and fat, so whatever. So it kind of works. All right. So now coming off of Head on the Spike, let's go into the second. I think this is the second single of the album, Cave In.
Yes.
Yep.
So this has one of the most evil intros on the entire album. Like, the intro to the song just sounds legit evil. Compared to Feel It Linger and Head on the Spike, this is more mid-paced, but it still isn't the stereotypical let me drop down to like 4 on the floor. Which actually, I think the contrast makes it pop when I look at sequencing, because the contrast made me take a step back and go, oh, interesting. That riff you have at 1 minute 29 seconds is fucking killer. That's my exact notes there, verbatim.
Awesome.
And there's a section, and I think it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds where the guitars drop out, and I think it's just you, Mike, and Adam. And it is tasteful, because a lot of bands drop the shit out and then you could tell they're just building to a breakdown. Where this, it didn't sound like that. It actually builds into the body of the song. And then at the 3:12 mark, I actually put a note here: Orthodox has officially mastered the art of the tasteful breakdown.
Awesome.
Because they don't feel bolted on. Like, they don't feel bolted on. I also have a note here is touring with Acacia Strain makes sense, because this is the most, quote, metalcore, unquote, song on the album. Like, if I had to pick one of your catalog to say, oh, you like Acacia Strain, check out Orthodox, this is the song I would give them.
Okay.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Take that, yeah.
Tim, I know I just blathered.
No. I mean, you literally hit on like that. You literally hit on the drum part that, that just comes in. But like, see, I'm a guitar player, so I love this song with the effects and stuff.
Hell yeah.
So that shit, like I remember when the single came out, hearing it, I was just like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing on this record now. Yeah, I'm just a fan of tasteful guitar effects that go with the song as well as it does. So, like I said, I think the guitar playing on this record's great. So,
hell yeah,
and all that kind of stuff, man, I love it. But yeah, this song is great for a single, especially for like a younger kid to hear, especially if you have someone like, excuse me, like someone from like, say, like a new metal background comes in and hears this at like 17 years old. They're going to hear a song like this, and then it's going to make them like stuff that's heavier, but in the same vein. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's a good song for that. That's one of my notes. It's a good song for a younger crowd to get into. And I think this should be a live staple for you guys.
Oh yeah.
It will. Two things with this one. This was the song I was talking about earlier where I called Mike after Austin sent it. This was the first song that he sent.
And I literally was just going to say that. Yep.
He sent this one, and he sent it with the beginning all the way to the end.
Yep.
And we didn't change. The only thing that changed was that part, Jay, you were talking about where it becomes just me and Mike. That was Randy's idea. That's the only adjustment we made. And the other thing about this song is that the bass outro of Head on a Spike is actually the same riff that's being played once the breakdown hits when Cave In starts. So that's a little nugget for you as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, the outro callback on Head of the Spike to the last album. What is that? Harmonics, I guess it is. The we. Like I get a kick out of that stuff when artists reference their own catalog, but not in like a masturbatory way. No, that actually worked. And I was like, oh shit, hold on, pause. Let me go back to the other album. Let me blast that one. Okay, now I'm back. Let's go to the first one.
Yeah, we tried to make it not too obvious, but like, because we had some ideas that were just like, all right, like, because we like doing a little blast from the past, shit that, people that have listened to the older stuff will be like, okay, a little Easter egg, but like, we don't want it to be front and center.
So
like, hey,
you're not trying to do the hate breed, crushed by the weight of the world that's yet to bury you on every album as a lyric. Like, you're not trying to do that. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
The only thing I can say about Cave In is the end of the song is like to this day probably still the coolest breakdown in my opinion that I've ever written. That's just how I feel about it. When I think of the breakdown at the end of the song, like if I listen to it and I'm like, yep, like that. I don't know. I remember whenever I first wrote the song, I was just driving home. I was driving home from fucking wherever I was, and I was like, I just had the layout of it in my head. Like, it just came so out of nowhere that I was like, because the beginning of the song was something that originally me and Mike worked on live, fucking like 2019. I don't even know if you remember that, but there's a video of us playing. Dude, it was at the old storage unit. I was playing James's PRS, and I was fucking with that riff that is the beginning of Cave In, and it always sort of like stuck in here, but I never did anything with it. And then I was driving home one day, and then it was like, what do I do here? Oh, bam, 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 bam. And I don't know. I had the whole layout to the song in my head before I even wrote it. And I was just like, that would be sick. And then I went home and just spent fucking like 4 hours just putting it in my computer. And like, I sent it to the group, and then everybody was like, this is already just like good. Like there isn't even, I don't even know what I changed about this. And I was like, that's fucking sick. I don't know. It was just all in my head. I don't know how I did that, but still one of the weirdest ways I've ever written a song. I just already had it thought up. Now I wish I could fucking do that. Are you serious?
Right? Just gonna pull over, just drop another song. Tim, any other thoughts?
No, I'm super excited to talk about the next song, honestly.
Yeah, right. So let's go into it. Track 4, Become Divine. Tim, lead us off.
I love when bands start out songs with just drums.
Yes.
Let's go.
So as soon as I heard that, I was intrigued. But I will say, let's give Shiloh the shine here. The fucking bass tone in this song is so fucking killer.
Yes. I have a note here. Bass. Oh my god. And then I have hip hop beat drums equal tits! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
So that was my notes.
There it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs on the record. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I can attribute most of that to Austin, because Austin really started this song, correct me if I'm wrong, with the drums.
Yes.
So he was like sitting in his room and
he the shit out of his lap.
He likes to do this thing where he hits his lap or his desk a bunch, and you don't know what he's playing, but he taps something on his lap real quick, and then he just starts punching stuff in his computer. And he punched in this drum part, and he said, dude, I've had this drum part in my head since I was like 9 years old. This has just been stuck in my head. Right. He said, this has been stuck in my head my whole life, this drum part. And he like put that down, and like, when Austin has an idea, you got to let him do it. And this was one of those ideas, even the bass. This was like one of his ideas where he was just like, I just hear this right now. You know what I mean? So like, I attribute that one obviously to Austin, because that's like, even though it's like a bass and drum part, still his baby. You know what I mean? He just had it right up there, and it just, when it clicks, it clicks.
Yep.
Also, like,
you can see it happen.
Yeah.
When they brought me in for it, my whole initial thing in my head was like, oh, I think that might be a little complex in terms of like how the snare is placed. And then he was like, but wait for this idea. And then he comes back with the verse, and having the verse be just so fucking bare knuckles, just dun, 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 just the easiest, most bullshit ass thing. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this works really well. So
Adam, do you come in, are you there early on? Do you do like Chino does, where he goes ha, like he like ad libs kind of lyrics as he's trying to find the patterns, or do you wait till the song is done and then lay your lyrics in? How do you work comparatively?
In terms of how I write my lyrics, is I end up like, in times past, I've had like my notes app will just be filled with little weird things that I'll think of. And then eventually I'll sit down once the song is done, be like, oh, that line could be cool here, or that line could be cool here. And then I'll connect them with relevance and context. But this song was actually the first song I wrote. This song was actually the first one that I wrote lyrics for this record. And it was mainly because I was so swamped with work and I just hadn't been in band mode for almost 2 years because of the pandemic that like we were writing this stuff, but like I was at kind of like a block and a pass in some sort. And I finally like forced myself one day. I was like, I'm going to just sit on my fucking porch and write a song. And I just started this one out and it kind of came right to me. And I think it was partially because it was so open and easy, where a lot of these songs, I've never had to write lyrics to like such complex musicianship before. I never had to like make room for something to shine or try to work over an odd time signature. Like it's never been something I had to do. So this one was kind of like the one that kind of broke the door down a little bit because it was so just straightforward, easy, spoon-fed bullshit. So
nice.
What do you say at it's like 3-minute mark right before like the moshi part? It's something, the ritual. What are you saying right there?
The ritual has just begun. So now bear the market or run.
Has this song been played live yet?
No.
Because that part right there with the guitar, like that's like ambulance time in Philly. People are killing people.
Yeah.
At that point.
Knock Austin over, grab the guitar,
ambulance time.
swing it like an axe.
Yeah,
right?
because the first
somebody.
the first hit of the breakdown is just drums. That was another thing with the breakdown of that song was like I love. I kind of took inspiration from Kublai Khan because of boom slang. Whenever they do the ooh, and it's like they hit the crash, but there's no guitar. It's just da 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 dun da 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 dun dun. I was like, I need a breakdown where it starts with the drums and then guitars come after it. So whenever that breakdown comes, it's like now bear the mark or run drums dun 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 dun. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about with the way you guys write the mosh parts. Like you don't see it coming. So that's why I say ambulance time, because when you don't see it coming and then people look at each other and just start like moshing hard as shit, like that's the kind of shit that happens.
Yeah,
like,
you're looking at the guy next to you like, yo, I'm gonna knock this fucker out. He doesn't even see this thing coming.
Like this one is great in my mind because like the whole song kind of cruises, and Randy actually wasn't sure that this one was going to work at all when we sent it to him. He was like, I don't know, this doesn't really feel like it for me. And then we finally got done with the full idea, added the vocals and all this, and he's like, okay, this shit rocks. And I think why I like the last breakdown so much is because like the song is really groovy and dancey, and the chorus is intentionally like kind of happy. And then by the time when it gets to that ending, it's just like a sudden like your car just randomly turned right way too hard and you crashed and everything's fading to black in front of you, like just collapsing.
I love the chorus of this song as well with like the different vocal attacks. Who is doing like the other vocal parts on here? Because I know you said there's no features, right?
It's literally all. So it's all me and Austin. That one particularly is like everything from in terms of the register, starting on the bottom, like there's like 5 tracks of me, and then the highest register is Austin. And I don't even know if we kept Austin on this one or not, because I ended up going in and just like yelling the melody with no grit or anything, just like as high as my voice could go. And I think Randy was like, oh, we'll keep that. But every other vocal part is just me, Austin, and then Shiloh makes a guest appearance at one point. But
okay, I do want to say about that.
That's
as well,
an Easter egg.
I love the fact that you guys didn't have any features with other vocalists on the record, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like a lot of bands get features, and I feel like it's all for the wrong reasons. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm not trying to talk shit on any band, because I'm sure you could think of bands that do it, but like I just feel like a lot of bands do it for the wrong reasons. Like, oh hey, we're gonna have Brian, what's it, Garris from Knock Loose.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have him on here, but I kind of feel like some bands just do that for the eyes.
I remember going back. I mean, now I'm going to date myself, right? Canderia's second album, which was Process of Self-Development.
Oh, there we go.
Here it goes.
And I'm a huge Canderia fan. Carly Combe, I used to have a audio cassette of him leaving a message on my parents' answering machine because I sent them a fucking letter. That's all day.
You're talking about Work in Progress.
Is it? Was that the second album?
Oh yeah, that's the Process of Self-Development.
Yeah, here's my point about that album, Austin. They had it was Jamie from Hate Breed. It was George from Marauder. Like they had a bunch of guests, which all worked. All the songs worked. They all sounded great. But as a fan, when I'm listening to that, maybe it's my internal pessimist. I'm going, so how the fuck are they going to pull this off live? They're going to cut the last verse? You know, like that's always in the back of my head. Not every band is, and give them credit where credit is due, Kubla Khan, who tours with Terror. So Vogel comes out and does the intro of the song they did together, right? Not everybody does that. So whenever I hear a band have a feature, I'm always kind of like, how are they going to pull this off live? And it's even worse when the two bands are on the same show and they don't like, that was, I mean, here it showed new metal roots, right? Soulfly, when they first toured Ozfest, that was a great part because Fred Durst came out and this guy comes out and this guy comes out because they were already on the tour. One of the things in the back of my mind, whenever I hear a guest vocalist is how are they going to yank it? How are they going to pull it off live? Are they just going to yank that verse or are they going to butcher their way through it?
Well, not just that, Jay. I just feel like, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. Like, no offense to any bands that do it. I just feel like a lot of bands are doing it now just for the sake of doing it. Like, oh, we're gonna get more eyes on our record.
You got the cool name on the record, right?
Exactly.
It does help streaming. So like the label actually approached me and was like trying to push a couple of people to do a guest spot, and I was like, we're not having that. Like,
I love that you didn't.
Yeah,
and it was a lot to do with like we've had guest spots on the previous two records and both of those were like, oh, I can hear this guy doing this part and I bet he can do it better than I can right now. But like this was the first record where between me and Austin, I was like, I don't know anyone that's going to fill anything that we're lacking here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's your first record for Century Media. Fucking put your stamp on it and leave it be. I think that's the best thing you guys did right here was leave it just you as the band.
And that's what we had that conversation because there was one point where we were all in Austin's kitchen and like I forget who brought it up, was just like, so are we like, it might have even been me, are we trying to have like features or anything? And we were all just kind of like looking at each other like, nah, like this is like the first thing where like we as a group have worked on it start to finish, like this lineup. This is our first record together. And we were just like, we can do this. Like this is our record. We just don't want anyone else getting in the way of what we're doing. And so it's just one of those cases where we like brought it up and we were all just like, nah, like there's zero need for a guest spot. It was like Adam was saying, like between Adam and Austin, we covered all of our bases. It's not lacking because we don't have that feature. Yeah. And we intentionally said like no features on this album.
Yep.
And that's not to say that like down the road, we won't do like potentially some sort of like re-release type thing where we bring somebody in, so on and so forth, and do something down the line. But like, we definitely wanted to make sure for this initial release, like this is us. This is like Shiloh exactly said, this is the first thing that we've done where everyone's fingerprints are on it. So we're keeping it just us.
Yeah. Wait till the remix album where you get the cricket from Guttural Slug to come on and do all the vocals for like Head on a Spike, where you're just like, what? Yo, is there a fucking bullfrog in the studio? What is going on right now? Moving this along, let's go to track number 5, Digging Through Glass. Tim, I'm going to lead off with this one. This is the best song on the album, hands down. First of all, it's got that swing riff, which I have no other way to describe it. I compare it to like Of Stirring Seas of Salted Blood by Black Dahlia Murder, or Here Comes the Butcher from the Deftones, that kind of weird sort of swing riff, which I am a total, Tim will tell you, I am a total fucking sucker for, right? So you got that, the staccato mosh riffs in the verse really, really work. The spoken word part actually fits really, really well. And I think this is probably one of the best choruses you've ever written, Adam, to the point where you guys, I told Adam this over chat. I actually quoted Adam in my white collar IT job the other day, where we were talking about something and I said, look, some things are made to be pushed away. And then I turned my video off because I started giggling at my desk because, but it works. But no, I honestly think this is the best song on the album, hands down.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
Tim?
awesome.
Yeah, I agree. This is the best chorus on the record. I love how you brought out the inner Zach Wilde in the intro. I love that kind of shit. But also, like Jay said, not my favorite song on the record, but one of my favorite songs on the record. That chorus, like Jay said, is just, I fucking love that. I love this. Like in the previous record, like you had similar stuff like that, but I think you guys laid on it a lot in this record, and I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. So that's one of the main reasons I love this record so much, is just you guys, it didn't seem like you guys were scared to do anything. You were just like, fuck it, this is us. Here you go.
Yep.
And that's what I love so much about it.
That chorus, I had one idea for that chorus, and it was what we end up having, what we have on the record. And, you know, I went to Randy with it, and I was nervous about that to the point where like I would literally lose sleep if I started thinking about it before bed. So I was like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. I don't think I can. I don't know that I can do it.
You were talking about doing that exact shit for like a long time.
Yeah.
Like you were like, I know exactly what I'm going to do right here, and I need to pull this off.
Yeah, and I was fucking nervous about it. And then of course it was another one of those weird melody ones where I brought it to Randy, and he's like, I don't know, dude. I don't think it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did it, Randy literally like he's turned this way, the vocals where the mic is right here, and he just goes, dude, like just looks at me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, does it work? He's like, that was fucking awesome. Do it again. And just kept doing it over and over again. And I mean, when he played it back for me for the first time and I heard it and I heard myself do that, I literally started tearing up because I was just out of relief. I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I cannot fucking believe I just did that. And then, like Austin said, I've been talking about it forever. And I think Mike was the first to be in there to hear
Mike
it.
and because I specifically remember like the way they would do vocals is we just like let Adam and Randy in the room, and we would just go do our own thing or whatever. And it's like we trusted Randy, we trusted Adam, and it was like we'll come in when it's done and see what they're working on. You know what I mean? There'd be stuff where Adam would be like, I don't want you guys to hear it until tomorrow. We got a couple more parts we want to do. I don't want you to hear it halfway. And we were like, okay, we'll wait till it's done, and we'll hear it. And we'll give any critiques that we have. And I remember Mike and I walking in to listen back on this because Adam was excited about this one, and he played it. And I just remember that chorus hit, and Mike and I just looked at each other like, I knew that was like my favorite chorus, like immediately. Mike and I just gave each other that look, just like,
dude, I fucking laughed.
Yeah,
Mike literally
just goes.
Mike just does this.
I laughed, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Mike just threw up the horns, said nothing, and just threw the fucking horns up.
We
I
were
was like,
I was just giggling, dude. It's very good. This is one of my favorite songs on the record as well. It's just got that swing to it. The chorus is good. It's a fun song.
Yeah, I know I'm sold where I'm, because my first listen is usually from a speaker while I'm just sitting here working, and I stopped and I went rewind, and then I kept working, and I noticed I couldn't get past the 45-second mark before I was rewinding. I'm like, all right, a timeout. So I actually logged myself off. I threw on a pair of headphones. I listened to the whole thing, and I went, oh fuck, this is the best song on the album. And I went, and I'm only 5 songs in. Like, what the hell is the rest of this thing? But yeah, it's definitely a monster.
And before we go to the next song, also I love on this song how Mike has the signature bell stuff in there. Like the way you do that, synchronize that with the guitar stuff, that I think is one of the most unique parts of this band. So
yeah, he rang the bell. He rang that dinner bell all the way through this bitch.
It's great, dude.
He has the mega bell ride with a bell bigger than my ass, and then he has the Zill bell
which
right
is
here.
Pretty big.
That's a big fucking bell.
Because for those of you that don't know, this isn't just me like gassing up a homie. Adam has cake. Like, I'm serious. He rips pants. He rips pants regularly. And like sometimes I look regularly. That green cargo pair splits.
That's one pair of pants.
No, that's on it. I have never blown out a pair of pants right down the cheeks.
That's
Right
awesome.
down the cheeks.
Anyways, I'm not telling y'all to just like eye him up, but next time he walks by, take a peak.
That's hilarious.
I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him.
God.
I'm happy for him.
That's a good call out though, because Mike, that's one of the notes I have. It's one of the later songs, right? Your bell work it's really easy to abuse that. You can abuse that. You can abuse the China. Again, it's like the breakdowns, they're tasteful in that it's applied in a way where it adds to the song without being a distraction, if that makes any sense.
Right.
I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one that he does that does abuse it, but it's in a good way. On track 1, when the breakdown goes to the palm mute and you hear me just saying fight, fight, fight over and over again, it just goes to the ding, 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 ding. There's literally one bell hit where he goes from the mega bell, and instead of doing the mega bell just driving through, it's like ding, 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 Zobel, ding, ding, ding. It just goes right back to the ride.
You'll catch it
It's
if you go
fucking
back
ridiculous. And it's because everything else is so crushing. You probably haven't picked it out, but next time you listen to that part, like listen to the bell and it swaps.
Find the Zobel.
One hit.
Yeah, it's great. I remember that one song you guys play live where it's like the double kick part with it.
Yeah.
And all you see is the people in the audience go, "Holy fuck, man."
There were definitely some moments in that show where you had people looking at each other like, yo, what? Really?
Can he
That's
do
sick.
that? Is he allowed to do that?
Yeah, pretty much. It's great, man.
Okay, so track number 6, Tim, start us off, Nothing to See.
I love how the whole band just starts the song off. You don't hear that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of bands, they just don't do it. Like everybody always has to shine themselves and stuff. But yeah, one of my favorite parts of the record is just, or of records, is when bands, they just start out at the same time and it's just brutal right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my notes here is the double kick is really what sealed this one for me. There's double kick in the bridge, which really adds more than you would think. And a bridge section, and then I have the double click riff. I have equals delicious OMG I'm hungry. That was my exact note right there. So yeah, you definitely nailed that one if you made me hungry. But yeah, this is and this is on the back of Digging into Glass, right? Digging Through Glass. This is just as aggressive, if not more so. Which and again, we're getting into like the pivot point of the album where you would flip it, go from A to B, and you guys have not pulled off the gas yet. Nope. Like you still just buried your heads and kept going, which is a good sign.
Yeah. I think this is when the record gets even more dangerous than the first half. Like it just, you know what I mean? Is if that makes sense, you guys. Like I think from here on out, these songs are just they're even heavier and brutal than the first 5, and you don't see that happen.
That's sick.
Right. Everybody buries their junk in the second half, and they try to we'll get out with a cover. With the cover, a feature, and a closer. Bang, done. There we go. 8 songs.
I mean, up to like I said earlier. I mean, like it just keeps. Like Jay said, like the gas pedal. I think you're pushing it down harder as this record goes.
Yeah, when we started with Nothing to See, I mean, if you want to know what is like the most guitar intense, like hardest song to play on the record, it's probably this one. This one, it just is all over the fucking place the entire time. And we really wanted to like take the emotional aspect of Digging Through Glass and how it's this big triumphant thing, and then just fucking punch you in the face as soon as the next song starts. Like that's why it starts with a barrage of just bullshit. Yeah. It's just supposed to knock you on your ass. Like having a moment where you feel something and then just like, fuck you. Nope. Psych. Just kidding. Haha.
Were you guys able to listen to this like in sequence, or did you have to go back and forth from the Dropbox?
I made a playlist in my Apple Music of it in sequence.
Yeah, okay. I pulled it all down, threw it into my YouTube Music, and then made it a playlist. Yeah.
Because that transition from Digging Through Glass into Nothing to See is my favorite transition on the record, because it just so happens that those are the only 2 songs that have any 3/4 in it. And it's Digging Through Glass ends in 3/4 and Nothing to See starts in 3/4. And just like Austin was saying, the way that Digging Through Glass is, that one's in its own key, right? Like I'm not losing my mind. Yeah.
It's in a different
It's in a
key.
separate key from pretty much the entire record. And so at that point, like you guys said, it's kind of the pivot of the record. So you have this big mega melodic song after those first 4 ass beaters. And it kind of, at that point in a record, a lot of people started to be like, oh, fuck, is the rest of this stuff going to be super pretty bullshit? But then it's like, we end that and immediately it goes into some of my favorite like chords that Austin plays. It just sounds like an assault. As soon as it goes, da, 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 dun, 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 like it immediately pulls you right back to the feeling from the opening, where it goes from emotional and almost sad to like, oh shit, here we go. So that's where that transition really rocks for me. Also, he has a riff in the middle of the song, that thing. I still don't understand it.
I was just gonna say Austin like definitely made Mike's life hard in this one, because that part from like 125 on, it's just a fucking sick riff.
Dude, this fucking song, when he brought this to the table, I honestly didn't like it because it was typical Austin gonna show his ass. And I was like, okay. I was like, here we go. And I didn't like it at first. I was like, dude, this is a little much. Like that was my honest opinion of it. I was like, dude, this is too much. Like, it's just, people use the term riff salad sometimes. And I'm not saying like that in a bad term, but it was just like riff. And I liked him, but I was just like, I don't know. This is probably my favorite song on the record now. Like, when everything's said and done. And like, it definitely pushed my ass to, kind of lock in and focus and be like, all right, quit fucking around. Like, you have to learn these parts and like make it work. And it came out super cool, and especially with vocals on it, I was like, dude, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Well, we had written through that like bass slam when we went to the studio, and we couldn't figure out what to do next. And then the fucked up, crazy, oh my God, drum fill that Mike plays after that was actually how we originally had the song starting. And we're like, hey, what if instead
that's right.
because the song starts in 3/4 and then does a total jump into 4/4. And we were like, how the fuck do we bring that riff back without it being totally unnatural? And I was like, what if we took that drum fill and moved it to the end of this slam? And then that's how we flip it back to the opening riff. And then we just start the song with those hits. And from there, Austin was like, oh, cool. Now I'm going to do this. And just wrote the rest in like 20 minutes. And then it was the rest of history. The song is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that double bass part at like the 2:10, that ridiculous part. You're absolutely right.
The ridiculous part. The ridiculous part.
It's just fucking like teeth grinding heavy shit. Like
it's a good tempo. It's like not too fast. It's just like
you're
like,
fucking
yeah. There you go. Exactly right, dude. I mean, it's
bitch.
Like the off timing mosh is just like it's like you hear like Chamber do it sometimes, and it's stuff like that. But like it's hard to write. It's especially hard to groove in off timing parts like that, especially being a drummer. I mean, I dabble in drums, so like I kind of get it, but like listening to that, I'm like, damn, dude, Austin is just abusing him this record. Like, hey man, like you got to be Raymond Herrera on this fucking record. Sorry, buddy, but you just have to. Like, yeah, you abused him, man, and I love it. So, and I mean, you killed it. So, you know who Raymond is, right? First Fear Factory drummer.
Wow.
See, I don't want to get into an argument, but I don't like that band.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. But like Raymond was always just like the way he did his drums. I'm like, damn, dude, like that's fucking talent right there, man.
Yeah, he was the metronome. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead to the next track, which is also.
And hold on, we're gonna talk about that later, though.
What, Raymond?
About not liking Fear Factory, because that's that's blasphemy.
See, I knew it was coming because I know you're.
Tim's gonna call him in the morning.
We'll distract Tim with like some cronium or whatever. So what is this? Track 6? Track 7?
Mark that one real quick.
11762. So I'll start with this one, Tim. This is different yet totally predictable based upon you guys' past catalog. So my notes here are industrial, glitchy, abrasive, and yet evil at the same time. So was this meant to be like we're taking a beat before we dive into the second half?
It's a segue.
Like a segue? Okay.
Pretty much. Like it's the start of side B. So
yeah.
Yeah, because I grew up on old industrial stuff, so I like this like really discordant kind of uncomfortable listening where everybody tries to do it, and some bands nail it, and some band it just kind of sounds like Kmart's version of industrial. Yeah. And you guys actually kind of crush it.
Oh yeah.
This one was. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
No, Adam, go ahead, because I really don't have much to say about this one. I mean, Jay pretty much nailed it. So
the feeling with this one was that we wanted Randy to do something that like was totally a Randy thing. And when we were wrapping up with our pre-pro stuff, my one like concern was like, yeah, these songs are amazing, but there's not that super weird risky side to them that the other Orthodox records had. And now that they're done, that's not true at all. But at that point, that's kind of how it feels. Like we don't really have any of that weird ass, just like freak shit on here yet. And we got there, and I told Randy, like, hey, I want to do just like a scary song. I want it to sound just like horror movie-esque. And he wrote that entire thing himself. And essentially, like, that was the first song I tracked the vocals on it. And then, yeah, that was that. We just essentially, this is a band this was a song that you kind of can't force, like you guys said. Like, you can definitely screw these up, but Randy has so many random little pedals where he can just sample and do these crazy noise and shit. And so he pulled me in, and we worked on that. And then the title itself is 11-7-62. And I can say this now because the studio's no longer there, but that was just the code to get in the door. So that was like the whole idea, was like the song was written about my writer's block. And so 11-7-62 was how you get into the studio. And I was like,
and you're right, Adam, because it's easy to force this, right? Mm-hmm. It's easy to force it, and it's the groaning, oh, this is them doing a segue. But it doesn't feel like that. It literally feels like this was the next song where they're kind of telling you to set up for, okay, now we're going to come, that plane is coming in hot, so we're going to finish this one out strong. And it really, really, really works. I look forward to the Adam Easterling Industrial Pet Brick side project, where it's just like, kind of like a horribly unlistenable, full of hell type riffing and stuff. Yeah, I'm in. I'm signed up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so next we have Tim. I'm gonna let you lead off with this one, Dissolve, which is the third single off the album.
Yeah, this is my for guitar work on the record. It's my favorite song for that. Really, really good stuff in here. And Jay, you just say this is the single you guys put out today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love the video on this, and we didn't talk about the videos before, so we should get into that now. But we'll start with this one. Like, where was this, in like a warehouse or something?
This is like an old paint facility.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paint factory. Yeah, out in Nashville.
Yeah, I still love when bands just do the performance video. I think a lot of people like hate on that now. I don't understand why. Like, I think it's crucial to see like the band playing. Like, if you've never seen the band live, or
right.
856 is here now, so you can see every band. But like, I think it's crucial for a band to put a performance video out, especially when they have a new record coming out, because it's like kids, they want to see what you guys look like, and they want to see how you guys act when you play and stuff. So I thought it was very smart to do something like that, especially for a song like this.
Mm-hmm.
Who was, so did Century Media say, like, you guys, all right, let's do 3 videos for the record, or was this something the band considered something?
This was our thing. We totally thought about it. Like, it's all, like, it's not out yet, but all of the videos sort of collectively flow into each other. So eventually there will be like one consecutive video where you can see how everything sort of plays out from beginning of Head on a Spike until Dissolve. So it's like its own separate entity almost.
Oh shit. Okay.
Cool. That's some Nine Inch Nails shit. That's awesome.
I had the idea a while ago, and then we took it to Nick Chance, and fucking awesome director, very cool guy.
Sings for Distinguisher.
Oh, okay.
And he brought that sort of situation to life for us, and like helped us really nail the thing that we were kind of going for. So shout out Nick Chance. But
did the label let you guys pick the singles as well, and the video, like for the video, like the videos and stuff like that, or did
they tried to pick they tried to come to us and make Feel It Linger a single, and it was while we were in Birmingham filming Cave In. And so I just responded to the emails like, hey guys, we're actually in the middle of filming the second of 3 videos, so we've got the singles, thanks though.
Thanks for your help.
Yeah. And I was like, it's fucking April, you're just now coming to us with what singles you want? Like, I was like, nah, we've been planning this. I'm sorry that somebody didn't run this up the chain to you guys, but no, these are the songs that we're doing. And they were like, oh, Okay.
Good.
Yeah, and we also very like intentionally didn't want the first song on the album being a single. Like we didn't want to release the first song.
Kind
of
of
the
cliche, you know?
Yeah. Right.
By the time this is out, the record will have been out. We are doing so Feel It Linger is what's going to be known as the focus track, which is the song off the record that's not a single that you pitch to playlisting for streaming. And I think that the label is going through the orchard to do a cool visual based off the album art. And that'll be out by the time that you guys hear this as well. So there will be like a visual for it. But yeah, exactly what Shiloh said. I feel like, especially if you really like a single on a record, you get so excited for the rest of the record, you end up skipping whatever song is the singles. And I'm like, this whole thing is a cohesive piece. I want people to listen top to bottom. And the way that the first song starts going into the two singles, it's kind of hard to skip those. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I have here the Jun Jun riff at 1 minute and 24 seconds. It's amazing. And then my actual note here is, at this point, I realized how well balanced the album is. So you don't go too over the top. You don't go too far back where you come off the gas. There's a continuum to almost how the tracks are sequenced, where it all sounds like a cohesive whole. Again, I've used that word like 700 fucking times. It's got to stop drinking tequila. But it makes sense because it is really cohesive, not only cohesive, but coherent, right? Like it all just kind of flows together. And unless you have anything else, Tim, I'm going to take us into the next song on the album, Fast Asleep, which I think this should be your live opener. Like, I giggled listening to this album. So here's my notes, right? And
Austin is very happy right now.
I'm assuming that was your opinion as well.
Are you fucking kidding me,
so here
dude?
we go. So here's my notes.
Let him go. Let him go.
The fucking side headbang riff in 28 seconds. Mosh my tits. That's the first thing I wrote.
Very good.
This is mosherific and yet solidly buried in the B-side. ? Are you fucking kidding me? The two-step parts really truly work. This should be opening with, and then you close with the Moab, the mother of all breakdowns. Like this, the fact that this is deep in the B-side really kind of speaks to the quality of the rest of the album that you can afford to bury. And then I was listening to it, and I literally was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what track is this? 3, 4, 8, 9? Where? Yeah. So kudos to you guys. Like, this is amazing. Like, to have a song this well written that far down shows you had that many good fucking songs.
Thank you, dude. Yeah. Dude, the way that song starts, bro.
No. He's really stoked. And I'm gonna this is Fast Asleep and Nothing to See are like my two favorite tracks on the record. Like I always heard bands growing up where I was like, man, I can't believe they wrote that and they're lucky enough they get to play it live. That's their song. Like, I wished I could play in a band so I could cover that song because it'd be so sick to play. And like, I listen to Nothing to See and I listen to Fast Asleep and I'm like, those are our songs. Like, I'm just so excited to be able to play those songs and they're ours. Like, I am very, very excited to play Fast Asleep live. Very excited.
Bro. Dude, when I wrote that song, I was like, I need something that looks like the most insane Hellfest walk-on song you could ever see. Like, I need like fucking 10,000 people at an outdoor festival, and the song starting being like, "What's up?" You know what I'm saying? Like, are you serious? And sort of that song is fucking beast.
Yeah, it's fired up, Jay.
Dude, it's a fucking monster. And I said this to Tim. It comes out tomorrow. I was really kind of impressed that there's songs on the B-side, B-side where I was like, holy shit, like, if you're good enough to drop these on the B-side, like, it makes some other bands A-sides look kind of like, yo, what are you doing? Go back in the fucking studio, slacker. Here's the bar. Like, get your shit together.
This was the song that I believe me and Mike were saying shouldn't be on the record.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
We argued about this. That's
why I just had my moment. That's why I just had my moment.
I'm so pissed now.
There were,
Yeah, I don't.
there's
I'm
4
gonna
of
get
us
off
in
here.
the band, and it was Austin and I, and we argued with Mike and Adam about
Could
whether
not-
this song should or shouldn't be on the album.
Oh yeah, this was like a 2
I'm-
or 3 day endeavor. Oh yeah.
This was a big argument.
No
with this
shit,
song.
really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's funny is
Absolutely.
they brought Randy into it, and then Randy's
tiebreaker.
argument was like, this absolutely has to be on the record. And then the next morning was like, oh shit, I mixed this up with Digging Through Glass. I thought it was that song. And I was like, so what do you fucking mean?
Yeah, so
but-
where are we at now?
Yeah, I'm glad it's on the record, especially because we do have some other songs from the album that will come out eventually. And those songs are better off as a smaller release. Whereas this one it definitely, you get the full picture when it is surrounded by everything else. I think I personally don't like the song as much because it is my least favorite of myself. But the song itself, like musically, I've loved it from the moment we finished it. I was like, this song sounds like stadium music. So
Yeah. Yep.
That was the whole point of writing it. Was
Big
it
pan
sounded
jump.
like a
Big
giant
And
giant song, like playing in an amphitheater. That's the whole thing that I was thinking. I was like, that's where a lot of the songwriting for this record came from, was just like, I want to play these songs live, and I want fucking pillars of venues to crumble while I'm playing it. I want fucking the roof to come down. Like, I want everything to fucking explode. That's where I came from whenever I was like writing riffs. I was like, bro, this shit's gotta fucking,
yeah, it's like
you know what I mean?
the whole like dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Like Austin was like writing songs for the rooms that we want to play in. You know what I mean? Like, he was writing songs like we are like we're a big band. He was just writing those kinds of songs.
The working title of this track was Giant Stadium, because that's where he wanted to play it, right?
Oh, we haven't been
What
saying
was-
what the working titles of these were.
No,
Yeah.
What's this one?
what is
Uh-oh.
this one? Can you just get us there?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. It's called
Okay.
That's a bit with Orthodox. Like, we'll start a fucking 8-hour drive in 30 minutes, and we'll just be like, can you just get us there?
Yeah, please get us there. I don't-
Jesus.
Mike,
Mike.
get us there, please.
Choosing.
That's
There's
probably
80
why I
different
don't
parts.
like this song.
That's right. That's right. There's 80 different
'cause-
fucking parking spots in the Walmart parking lot, and Mike's
Oh my
just like,
God.
I don't know about this one.
Squeezes right
It's
between
enough.
2 cars when it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
there's no way
So-
we can explain to you this peculiarity of Mike White, and you understand how infuriating it is. But
I don't know how you guys get into a band with 4 other dudes and do that for weeks at a time and don't go crazy and stab each other, because I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
No, I'm just playing. We almost do it every day. No,
Yeah.
I'm just playing. Again, we got a pretty solid dynamic between all of
Yeah.
us when it comes
Not
to
only
us
that,
being on
but
tour.
it's like any band. Like, we obviously really get on each other's
Mm.
nerves, but it's like a family where like you love each other enough where you don't care
Hold-
that you get on each other's nerves.
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't hold
Because
anything
like
back.
what you have is more important than whatever argument you're having. Like, there's no
Yeah.
question whether or not we're going to be friends after an argument, or whether we're going to stay in a band together after an argument, or any of that. It's just like I'm never arguing with Austin being like, dude, I wonder if like this is like we all are aware of how much we love and care about each other, far separated from being in a band. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, these are my freaking brothers, whether or not
Right.
like
They're family, and you
whether
may
we're-
hate them sometimes, but they're
yeah,
your family.
and
Yeah.
sure, I met them because I play in a band with them, but like, if this band stopped tomorrow, like, they're my brothers forever. So it's like we just can deal with each other all the time because we've learned to understand each other.
Yeah.
And it's just the dynamic we have. Like, we obviously get on each other's nerves, but like,
Big time.
it's part
But
of family.
Don't
It's
get
part
it
of-
twisted.
So wait,
Get it
Mike,
twisted.
you don't like this song?
Dude.
You gotta drop that in there. I'm just coming back.
We don't
A
gotta
little bit. It's grown on me.
Okay.
I do like it a lot more
I
in
think-
context.
I think without the vocals, because for a long time we had this song without vocals on it, like because we didn't.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We didn't get to finish it
I
because
had to
of
go
That
back
was
to
the
the studio like
that
3
was the
months
last
later.
one Adam finished. Yeah, it was the very last one. So
that
I
was
think
the one. Yeah.
it was being skipped over in the sessions of like, oh, I want to listen to that again. I want to listen to this again. Oh wait, that doesn't have vocals yet.
Mhm.
That still doesn't have, like, it would get pushed off, and it was just like one of those things where it just was the last thing to get finished. So
I had
don't
high
know.
hopes for it, but it was hard to listen to whenever, Randy would also do this things that since we didn't have vocals on that song, he would start mixing other songs instead. So we had mixes of other songs, but I say can you just Fast Asleep was still like kind of at like the baby stages in the mix itself. Whenever we had, actual mixes for the record, it was like,
Right.
it's like it was good, but it wasn't anywhere near as like up to date as everything else, and there were no vocals on it, so we were all just kind of like, fuck, like where's this song gonna end up, and then Adam went back, did vocals on it, then we actually got mixes of it, and then it was like, and then I was like, bitch, this shit is sick. But
I mean, once I heard vocals on this song and the next track, once I heard the vocals, it's like they went from being like mid-tier songs to like jumping to my tops. Like once the vocals came in, and it was like, that's an attribute to the work Adam did on this record. Because a lot of times, like, I hear instrumentation and I fall in love with it, and then vocals in my head, it's like, how are these gonna fit in? But these songs were like, thank goodness these have vocals. It just took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's I can't say anymore. It's one of my favorite songs. Yeah. So Tim,
well, we're forgetting about the best part of the song is that little interlude part. It just, the band just stops and it just gets that clean guitar part. Talk about that a little bit, because that is a very interesting part to me, because like the song is just like beating your ass, and then just like out of nowhere it just stops.
Yeah, it's
like,
just kind of sucks the air out, man.
That's a great way to say
yeah,
that.
it's a great way to describe it. Yeah.
I don't remember where exactly like the thought process went with that. We ended up
figure out how the last chorus could be huge.
Yeah, we had a lot of starting running ideas for that shit for a while, but like executing it was like the hard part. We didn't really know how we wanted it. Like we had the general idea of how we wanted that to go, but we didn't execute it before we got to the studio. It was just like rough little placements that we were just like, well, shit. And actually, I feel like it was longer than how it is in the song, because I think we did the little fucking like air sucking out shit, and then just like held it out for way longer than we needed it to. Because I mean, the song's long, dude. It's like 4.5, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So-
4:37. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we needed to have different elements thrown in, because like you said, I mean, it is pretty much fucking, it's not over the top gas the whole time, but there's a lot of gas, it's very fucking go, 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 go. So
yeah,
there have to be moments of letting it breathe for at least a minute, adding different elements to the songs that, like, when you sit down and you listen to everything else that we had written at that point, it was just like, okay, like what are things that we just haven't done? Like what are different things that we could do to bring a different feel to the record / the song itself that would make it unique and make it stand out, so. And
yeah, it works. I mean, it legit works, right? Holy shit. Tim, All That I Am.
Best song on the record.
That rocks.
Dude, yo,
fuck that rocks.
Adam, what do you say? What is it? Is it
That's a good take.
What are you saying there? What is it? I read the lyrics.
Faint, sick, and weak.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is about the lyrics of this song and just the way it flows, but this song has to be a live staple, because it's one of them moving songs, man.
This is my favorite song lyrically on the record, but also like it's such a fucking bummer to me, because there is no better place on the record for this song. Like it absolutely is the perfect like second to ender. Like there's nowhere else this makes sense. It's so dark. It's so almost slow in comparison to the rest of the record.
Yep.
Like it is in the perfect place. But if you go through like our streaming, like our history on like our artist app and all that shit, and you look at like one of the best songs I think we wrote in the first 2 records is a song called The Approach. Song is fucking crazy fast, super new metal, but really catchy. Has the least streams of any song we put out since that record. Like literally the least amount. And that's like a song we played live and everything. So like it has to do with, I mean, attention spans are this nowadays. And that song is second to last of a 42-minute record. So I'm bummed because realistically it's going to not get played as much as it should. But I'm with you, Tim. Like I think this is one of those that for me is very hard to not call my favorite. Like it is, especially once it was, this is another one where when we were writing it, I was like, it was it's cruises at one level the whole time.
Yeah.
And when we got in there and I think this is one of the only songs in my opinion where my vocals actually really elevated the flow more so.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, like this song, yes, you made this song what it is, because it's not that I didn't like this song before, but it was definitely under those contenders that were like, we could toss all 3 or 4 of these wherever, and it's like all the same kind of stuff in my opinion. And then I heard vocals on it. I was like, nope, that's on the record. I don't give a fuck where it's at. It's got to go. It's on.
Yeah.
And it was great when I first heard that.
Same. It made my entire day. It went from just being riffs to just being like a steering wheel puncher. Like once I heard those lyrics, I was just like, dude, I cannot wait to be in my car and whoop on that steering wheel. And like it just made the song. It's like it's like I said when we were talking about Fast Asleep. Like once we heard lyrics to this, I was like, it just took it to 10. It just literally vocal performance took this song and made it.
And I think the sequence of it being right after Fast Asleep, because this is more of a slower metalcore type song. The contrast to Fast Asleep actually makes it stand out and be that much more memorable. Like to me, that's my exact notes here. That I had the cymbal pyramids at minute 31 seconds. They're sparingly used, but they sound brilliant. And that melting riff you do at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. The new, like really to me sealed it. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm in, man. Because that's one of those, like, again, throw your guitar into the audience and hope somebody's head comes off types minutes of the live set. Like it's fucking a monster.
Dude, there's a part before the first chorus where like the snare rolls, like it's like an offbeat snare roll, but I fucking rewound that like 15 times when I first heard it. Like, dude, yeah, so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Man. Yo, but that song makes your head bob the entire fucking. I don't care where you're listening to that. I could be at fucking church listening to that shit. I don't go to church, but I'll put that shit on. My head is moving the whole fucking time.
You can hear a lot of like Candiria element, or not Candiria, I'm sorry, Chimera sort of elements in there. That's where like it for any of you guys who fuck with Chimera, like definitely a huge inspiration for me with writing this stuff. I have like, the Slipknot and like the old new metal sort of shit going on in my brain whenever I write this shit as well. But like, goddamn, bro, Chimera is so insane. And I got super into Chimera like before writing this and like getting into like really good. I mean, shit, that band is amazing. And fucking, so right. You can hear a good amount of like the influence drawn in from that. But actually, the way that I went about writing this song was there was a Pantera song that I listened to, and Slaughtered. It was Slaughtered. Oh, yeah, and whenever
probably the best song of Far Beyond Driven, even though if you said that when I was impolite company, you get punched.
That was the working title of this song.
The song was called Far Beyond.
Far Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was the working title.
Yeah, whenever I remember I was just listening to Far Beyond, just doing my shit. And I remember listening to the beginning of Slaughtered, man, and just the fucking and then like it goes into the and then as soon as it finishes that like weird scaly shit, it just drops her right back to the intro riff. The fucking
so Austin, question. Are you going to the Pantera reunion if they come close?
That's hilarious. I can't, like, I got news of that happening and I was like, you're kidding. Why is that even?
Are you
I don't
going?
even, I don't know.
That's hilarious. Are you going? I don't know.
I mean, probably. I have no idea where it's happening.
Oh, I'm
doubt
fucking
it's coming
sold.
to Nashville.
I don't care. I'm sold. I'll go. It's a Charlie Benanti and Zach Wilde. Yeah, that's good enough for me. It's good enough for me.
That's sick.
What Chimera record were you listening to? Like, was it Pass Out of Existence?
It would have to be Pass Out or Impossibility for sure.
Now that I'm because I just put the song on in the background and I'm like, because you said the Chimera reference, I'm like, it has to be Pass Out because that's one of my favorite records of all time. And now I'm gonna listen to this record and see what you're talking about. So
yeah, like if you want like actual inspirations that like were constantly flooding whenever I was writing a lot of the music for this, it was like Slipknot, Gojira for like the more metal side of shit, and then like, I mean, Pass Out I mean, pretty much a new metal record, you know. I mean, it's just
I think Rob is
crazy
one of the best guitar
breakdowns.
players ever.
Yeah, dude, he's insane.
Yeah,
unbelievable guy.
Yeah,
Freak.
I mean, I know what's his name was on that record too, the old guitar player, but Rob just has like this certain way of writing riffs that are just great all the time. I mean, every record they've done with him is just, I thought they just got better and better.
Even their later stuff, dude. I listened to Pass Out and like Impossibility for a long time, and then I remember Mike starts playing songs off of the self-titled, and I remember fucking, it was on the way to the cave-in shoot whenever we were doing the music video, and I was like,
what song is it? It's
fucking Inside the Horror.
Oh hell
yeah. I play it and I go, I want to see if he fucking pokes his head up.
Dude, I literally was just laying completely flat on the bench, and then I was like, I was like, is this Chimera?
That first breakdown that hit in that song, and I looked in the rear view, and that little motherfucker's head popped up, and he's like, "Who is this?" And I go, "This is Chimera." He's like,
"I was like, is this Chimera?" Yeah.
Even better being
knew
from
he
Ohio,
would do
right?
that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I just remember checking out that album and going, Kevin Talley is going to drum for them. How is that going to work? And then that first song comes in, and you're like, okay, I see how this fits.
That's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
What was that first track on that record? Nothing Remains.
Nothing Remains. The outro riff of that, where he's going back and forth up the tom and the cymbal. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you kill the person next to you, literally.
They played that damn riff every way they possibly could think, and they all worked fucking great at the end of that song. It was insane. I was like, how many times are they going to play this? And it was every version of the way that riff is played was sick.
When I saw the last time I saw Misery Index, they opened covering Chimera.
Really?
I think it was the first song off of Impossibility of Reason. They open with that, then they go right into like Traders or something. It was kind of wild. It was good stuff. It was good stuff. All right, Tim. So last song, Voice in the Choir.
Go ahead, Jay.
So I have here the Jun Swing riff, quote unquote, at 18 seconds is a monster. The outro totally makes this song work. I said there's a lot of Deftones guitars on this. Just the tone, the tone of the guitars towards the end. I was like, why do I hear Stephen Carpenter? And then I said the heartbeat drum outro is perfect. Is perfect. Like because as soon as it's done, you go, all right, the album's over. Play. You go right back into it. Yeah, I think that was a tasteful way to end the album without like, because sometimes bands get to the end and like, fuck, how do we end this? I think that nails it.
Oh yeah.
Shiloh, that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the two ideas that I can pat myself on the back for. Yeah, I mean, like, well, we were talking about that, and like Randy helped with this song a lot, especially in the latter half. Maybe that's where you're getting like Deftones like vibes from it. But like we were talking about how to end the song. And my favorite band of all time is Death Cab for Cutie. And they've got a track on one of their songs that ends with just like a stripped down like hi-hat snare, similar to what you hear on this, and it's the way they transition into another song. And like I have always just like loved that band and loved what they've done, especially like their drummer. He's like one of my favorite drummers ever. And like
incredible.
He's incredible. He just writes exactly what the song needs every time. And
Yes.
and like Randy and I were like talking about the end of that song, and I was like, I wanted to do something similar to that, but not use it as a transitional piece. Like that's just because whenever I hear that song and I ever like catch it on like shuffle or whatever, I'm like, what if that's how Death Cab ended that album? And it's like that would be the craziest thing to just have that trail off, and you just feel like it goes on forever. And so we tried it like just that way, and I was just like told him like I want something that Death Cab didn't do was like the heartbeat kicks. And that was just something else that I was like, I think that would be really cool. And we just like went no met and just like slowed it down and slowed it down and slowed it down. And it was like I didn't think for sure whether it would work or not. And I'm very happy that it did work, and I'm very happy that it closes out the record.
It's perfect because it literally causes you to take a breath and go, okay, now I know that the album is done. I went back in, but it's almost like it's almost like a subconscious cue, right? You hear the heartbeat, you hear it slowing down, and it lets you know that even if you're kind of listening off to the side of your desk, the album is now complete.
Yeah.
And I think it was brilliant in its elegant simplicity, I think is the best way I would describe it.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
That's sick.
Thank you.
Yeah, this song has one of my favorite riffs of the whole record. Around the 2-minute mark.
Is it Shiloh's favorite?
It's probably my favorite riff. I don't have a timestamp, but it's my favorite riff is on this song.
It's like yeah,
that's the one. Yeah,
I fucking love that riff, man.
When he wrote that, I was like, I was stoked. I love that riff. It's my favorite riff on the record,
dude.
Yeah, that's
what isn't common knowledge. This was whenever I first started writing this record. Like the first riff I ever wrote for it was like. It was actually the beginning of Dissolve. I wrote that shit forever ago. The fucking like did that, and then I wrote all of Cave In, and then the song I wrote or started writing immediately after that was this one. Like, and this song has gone through so many alterations and fucking just like. I mean, we probably shifted shit like 10 or 15 times because we could not figure out how we wanted this song to go. And I actually wrote the like, you know, that entire section pretty much in the studio. I mean, like hell, even the breakdown in the beginning, Mike. Hey, because guess who didn't like, dude, Adam did not like that shit.
What's funny about this song is that the chorus riff was the main riff from the beginning, and it was played in a different way where I was like, this sounds, it like to me just kept screaming every other metalcore band that we're like, it wasn't that it was a bad riff, I was just like, it's too far in the metalcore world, like the standard metalcore side, and I didn't like it. And then the opening riff, I was like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Was a completely different, separate entity as well.
It was never a part of the song. It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the song ever. And I was just like, dude, I was like, it's fun, like it's heavy, but like, I think it's so dumb. Like, it doesn't sound like us at all. And Mike and Austin just kept being like, that's coming on the record. That's coming on the record. And then somehow
has to be on the record.
Somehow, the two things I was probably the most against on this motherfucking album end up in the same song. And they rock. And that's also what's so cool about this song, in my opinion, is that like it starts out with, correct me if I'm wrong, arguably the dumbest breakdown of the entire record. Like it is the stupidest, slammiest, just dumbest bullshit on the record. It starts there, and by the time you finish the song, you forget that breakdown even started the song. Like it ends in a completely different, very mature, atmospheric world that you would never perceive to go to whenever the song starts. And that's why I think this song is so cool, is because it literally starts the race in one place, and by the end of the song, you're not even
different world.
It's a different sport. Like it's ridiculous.
The song has some of my favorite riffs on the entire record in it. Like for me personally, just the way that I wrote it, like the fucking the two-step riff in the beginning, the dun 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 dun, like the stabs, like the stabby guitars that come in, and then it just like circles around, and then it's both stabs, dun 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 dun. Like I was having a fucking blast writing this shit, dude. Like there's so many riffs on this song that I just, whenever I play it, because I'll go through and play the record downstairs with my guitar and shit all the time, because we have to, you know, play shows eventually. But I play the song and I just have the most fun with it. It's so sick. I love all the riffs in it.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
We used the intro of the song as the intro for the set, this day 2 set that we played on that Acacia tour. But you guys, you know, didn't come to day 2, so you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
So.
Yikes.
No, I was busy waiting for my COVID to set in, because like everybody else, I got COVID off that tour. Whatever.
Yeah.
It happens.
It's awesome.
Damn.
Hey, I got it out of the way, and then I think I got it again for This Is Hardcore, but we're not going to talk about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
I think
6
I had
months.
it. I think I had it a week before This Is Hardcore. God
Yeah,
damn, dude.
you blasting green shit all over the place. So,
Awful.
so this album is out Friday the 19th, August 19th. I think we'll probably put this out right beforehand so people can get at least an early taste. All in all, like, again, it's cohesive, it's coherent. It's obviously your most mature stuff. And not only am I stoked for the album, I'm stoked to have you guys take it out on tour. I'm even more excited to what you're going to do next, because this is a legit step towards where your talents take you. So now the question becomes, okay, well, how do they fucking top this? Like,
How do you one up this?
Yeah.
Well,
It's an origin
Austin's already
record.
sent us some bullshit.
Right, Mike?
That's
It's an origin
right on
record.
that way.
I've got
Yeah.
some shit cooking already, but
Yeah, hit play.
but I'm also like, dude, I'm in a position right now where like the writing process for this record took so long. Like, and it wasn't even like it was hard to do, but you know, I started writing songs for the shit back in 2020, you know, and we're almost in 2023 in a few months, and we'd spent the entire beginning of arguably the entire year up until we recorded it in 2021 writing the shit. So I'm like trying to let this one sink in. Hello, like, can I let the fucking record come out before I decide to write new shit?
18 months, right, Austin? Everybody lost a good 18 months. All those bands that put out stuff right before the lockdown, right during the lockdown. I mean, Coda, I mean, not to bring up a sore spot, but look at what it did to Black Dahlia Murder. Like, it basically ruined their career. They needed a chance to tour off the last album, and then whatever Trevor had going on kind of just set itself in. But Code Orange lost all their momentum. I mean, Knock Loose, lucky for them, they put out that EP, which kind of got them back on track. Turnstile somehow came out of the lockdown bigger than they went in, which is really kind of wild.
The internet's a crazy thing, man.
It definitely is. So we've asked this question of Adam, so I'm going to ask you three guys. We've asked this to Adam already. So label comes to you and says, okay, you guys are going out on tour. You are the middle band in a 3-band package. So you get to pick the opener and you get to pick the headliner who's playing over you. Austin, who do you pick?
Oh shit! Why did I fucking me? Come on, to start.
I'm going alphabetically.
and it can be, you know, a band that's not even around anymore.
A band that's not around anymore.
Yeah, you could literally say like, I want like Botch to play the headline.
Oh, Botch. Shit.
If anyone else has it ready, go ahead.
If we're talking about like pipe dream shit, you know, like definitely Metallica headliner. Okay. And opener's a tricky one, because I have a hard time thinking that like anybody should be playing below us in general, but fucking
who's gonna give you a run for your money, Austin? Who's gonna threaten to blow you off the stage and make you bring your A game?
Oh, that is a good question. Shit, dude.
I feel like Shiloh is nervous right here. Like, fuck, I gotta answer this.
No, I got him right here.
Oh, okay.
No, go to Shiloh. Go to Shiloh.
Okay, so we'll go to me. I was in OKC, and I saw the band Peeling Flesh, and I want that band to open. I want to play shows with that band every day for the rest of my life. That was one of the most fun shows I've ever been to. I would say Peeling Flesh is an opener, even though this lineup doesn't make sense. And then I want to tour with 12 Foot Ninja more than anybody in my entire life.
Okay.
More than Motionless in White?
I mean, like Motionless in White, like we have Motionless in White's my favorite metal band.
Finally, someone likes that band.
You don't even want to get me started talking about Motionless in White because that'll be another, like, I'm not kidding. It'll be another 2 hours. So Motionless in White's like a given, but like, I feel like we as a band have a shot at that in the next year or so. You know what I mean? Like that's
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So I think that's doable. So like Motionless in White, like, yes, I want to tour with that band, like more than anything, but like 12 Foot Ninja is a band that I got into because one of my weird coworkers told me I should listen to them. And I usually brush off like the music he listens to. And like he was listening to this band, he's like, you need to listen to 12 Foot Ninja. This is probably like maybe 5 years ago. And I was like driving to meet some friends in another city, and I put on a 12 Foot Ninja record and I listened to it every day for like 2 weeks straight. And I told him, I was like, dude, I've been listening to 12 Foot Ninja like a crazy person. Like I want to tour with that band really bad. And that's one that it's like, that's like more out of the realm of possibility just for like the 2 different worlds we're in. And I don't like, that's like a dream. Motionless in White is like achievable, but 12 Foot Ninja is
that
like,
lineup would work. Lineup would work.
Yes.
Motionless in White, Orthodox, and Peeling Flesh. And imagine the poor Warped Tour Motionless in White fans that get there early. And
Yes.
Peeling
Devastated.
Flesh comes on,
I
and they
wish
hit
that
the
for
fucking reggae horn breakdown. Dude. Unreal.
But I would say either 12 Foot Ninja or Motionless in White.
Okay.
Motionless in White's achievable. 12 Foot Ninja's like, I don't know how that would ever happen, but I would love to go out with those guys.
Okay. Mike?
So I'll start with the opener. I would fuck that. I honestly pick I Am to open.
Okay.
I will tour with that band for the rest of my life.
Same.
Yep.
They're like one of our best friends. I'll always tour with that band. They fucking whoop ass. They're only getting better. Their latest record that's about to come out is going to fucking smack your mom. It is fucking sick.
Smack your mom.
Them, I mean, they're the homies. We love those guys. Whether they're bigger than us or whatever, or even, it doesn't matter. That's where they're going right now. Above us, honestly, with the Blue Ridge Rock Festival getting announced, I'm picking God Forbid.
Oh hell yeah.
Because that band whoops. God forbid. Absolutely.
The Determination is 11 out of 10 record.
Yes.
Dude, it's ridiculous. That band is fucking awesome. The riffs that band has come up with over the years before they broke up is insane. And like as a realistic tour, that could literally work.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's my
that
pick.
could definitely work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got to see that band one time and wasn't enough.
Yeah, see, me and Jay were
old. We're old, so we've seen them enough, right?
We were spoiled with the Kill Time, and they played there every other weekend.
Oh yeah. For me, it was what was it? It was the Seton Hall birthday bash. Then it was Metalenium, which was them, Darkest Hour, Candiria, Lamb of God, and 6 Feet Under. I think was the headline.
Oh God,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was one of those tours that was like, yo, what is going on here? First time I ever saw Darkest Hour, and touring off of before they became the metal band that they are, So Sedated, So Secure. And it was just, I remember that. That's their awesome. Drummer is one of those guys I spent the whole set watching, like, holy shit, this guy is, he's like a fucking metronome. So Mike, I'm going to stick with you and I'm going to work my way back. What albums have come out this year, not your own, that you're kind of like, yo, people need to check this shit out? This is really good.
I already know what the fuck he's going to say.
Records that have come out this year.
Like stuff that you're listening to now, we're like, yo, this is really, really good.
I'm trying to think. I'm not trying to block here, but there was a lot of good stuff that came out last year. circle back to me on that one.
Okay. Shiloh, what came out this year that you're like, yo, this is good. People need to listen to this.
You can say anything, bro.
Okay, so 2 albums that came out this year that I am obsessed with right now. There's a artist called Wednesday Campanella. She's like I'm not sure her country of origin or where she's based out of, but she just put out an album not too long ago. I'm looking it up on Spotify so that I make sure I get it right. It's called Neon. It's like more of like an EP. I've had that thing on repeat for like a long time, and there's like a lot of like J-pop artists that I like Perfume or like Carrie Pamu Pamu, things in that realm that like I obsess over, like REOL, love that stuff. This came out and it like quickly climbed to like some of my favorite stuff in like the J-pop realm. Another album that I've been obsessed with is an album that came out maybe like 2 months ago. I can't even pronounce the name of it, but Becky G, she's like massive like pop artist. She put out like a record a couple years ago that has been like top 5 over the last couple years. Record she just came out with. I literally listen to it every day. It's like it's perfect front to back. So I would say if you're one of those people that can admit they like pop music, check out Becky G's last album. It is like it's brilliant pop music. That's like my number 1 record like right now. Like absolutely.
Okay, cool. Austin?
I'd say probably right now one of my favorite records to come out this year so far was probably the newest Vane record. If we're talking about like the hardcore adjacent metal world, I think that This World Is Going to Ruin You is insane, and I think the singer of that band is a lyricist that a lot of people nowadays cannot top. That dude is like, he writes songs in ways that I don't even know how he comes up with the shit he does. Also, the people who play the instrumentals in that band are just insane. Like,
I'll tell you, brother, This Is Hardcore set, it was late and it was fucking 900 degrees in Underground Arts.
And I was there.
And you were there?
I was.
It was unreal.
I was shirtless as fuck. Yeah.
It was unreal. I was just standing there
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. Like just standing there like, my God, I'm going to die. It was unreal.
It was awesome. That band is amazing. And I will say, if I were to pick, there's 2 bands that I would pick as the openers for a tour. And I think I would change my headliner pick from Metallica to, because I want to keep it kind of like realistic just in case. I would have Gojira be the headliner, and I would have Vane open. And because I think that band is so good live that it would be a constant fucking, I gotta play better than you tonight.
Yeah.
Like they would push me so hard to nail our live sets. Yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
I love it though. That's sick. And if for some reason, and if we want to go entirely unrealistic, it doesn't make sense. Kind of a curveball, Vision of Disorder. I'd have that be.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites. Fucking VOD I even love the late catalog stuff for Bliss and Devastation, where all the fans kind of tossed off. No, they're fucking awesome.
Dude, band's
fucking
amazing.
Awesome.
And I'd say, aside from that, a record that isn't out yet, but one of my most anticipated of the year is the new Life's Question record.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good.
That band has so many good riffs. So, I mean, dude, so talented. The Ridge is just one of the craziest fucking guitar players ever. He writes shit that I'm literally just like, bro, that's I don't get it.
Were you up the whole weekend, Austin?
I was there the whole time.
Yeah, they were one of the standout sets where I was really kind of surprised at the reception that they got. I was like, wasn't expecting that. But yeah, they were really good.
Bridge was also the guy who did our album art. So
nice.
Yeah, the guitar player of Life's Question. But yeah, I think that's one of my favorite hardcore bands like of the now. And I know when that record comes out, it's just gonna be so good. They're so good, dude.
All right. Adam.
So couple of records. First and foremost, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the show and we got sidetracked. If you ever want to hear what Austin sounds like when us three aren't sitting behind him telling him to chill the fuck out, you should listen to his band, A Dozen Black Roses, because they put an EP out.
Oh, that EP is fucking fantastic.
This year.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
fantastic.
Oh wait, you're in that band?
Yeah,
he sings for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that EP is
yeah, it's great.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah. So that that band is ridiculous. We're actually there. He and all of them are opening the release shows for this record, and that's gonna be. We're gonna have to follow them and Chamber, so that's not gonna be fucking fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Tim if I wasn't going to Psycho Las Vegas, we'd be on a plane. We'd be on a plane coming down to see that release show because that would be wild.
Yes,
but
it's
in
gonna
terms
be
of
crazy.
Other releases, so the new Comeback Kid record's amazing. If I was gonna do the whole like dream lineup thing with us in the middle right now, opening would be No Cure from Alabama. Our buddy Blythe sings for them, and they're basically like death metal foundation is what I attribute it to.
Oh,
and then
okay.
the other
I gotta get on that.
Yeah, and then the other one is one that a lot of people haven't caught on to yet. Have you guys listened to Dream Widow?
Yeah.
No.
Dream Widow is the Dave Grohl
That
70s,
record
80s
rules.
thrash metal project.
Yeah.
And it just came out. It literally is linked to like the Foo Fight. That's how I found it. Was I was just scrolling through Spotify and it said new in metal today, and it said Dream Widow, Foo Fighters, and I was like, what the fuck? And it's literally Dave Grohl, to my knowledge, plays every instrument on the entire thing, does all the vocals, and I think it's supposed to be the fictitious band that they form in the horror movie that they put out last year.
Yeah, it is.
But the shit rocks. It's literally every aspect of like 70s and 80s metal is somehow in there. Everything from like Slayer to Black Sabbath to Metallica, like everything is in there, and it's fucking awesome. And you would not be able to tell that it is Dave Grohl on vocals most of the time.
Yeah, it's a
nice.
great record.
All right, we'll definitely check that out. I think just came out A Knife in the Dark, that new EP.
Yep,
it's
shit's
fucking
wild.
great.
That band is nuts.
This is for Mike Canine from France with a K. They just came out with it's called Carnage. It's this wonderfully delicious, brutal slam. It sounds like everything else, but it's really fucking fun.
What's the record cover look like? I think
it's a 3-headed dog. It's a blue background with a 3-headed dog.
Okay, I'm mixing that up with something else. Never mind.
And I think one of the sneaky best albums of the year, I know it made my top 10 list, that new Wormrot album is absolutely terrifying. Like how they do 18 tracks of grindcore, and it's just relentless. And it's like, yo, are these guys going to stop? And they just keep going and keep going. It's like, my God, can I attach my face? Hold on.
Yeah, that band is heavy as fuck.
Unreal. They're up there. I put them up there with Rotten Sound as one of those sneakily talented bands where you're like, yo, I forget about these guys until they put out an album, and then I stop and I go, holy shit. I saw them in Philly at a bar. My leg hair vibrated for 3 days. They were so
I wanted to see
loud.
that band for a while.
Dude, they're so and they're like, it's funny because they're Scandinavian. So they get up like, hey, we are Rotten Sound from Sweden. And then just the most repulsive music comes out of the speakers, and it's like, yo, what the fuck? Is it the weather? It's gotta be the weather. It's gotta be the weather.
Real quick shout out. For as long as this band has been around, we've been confused for or mistaken for a 3-piece from Spain called Orthodox. And as of literally like 2 days ago was the first time that our bands have ever interacted. Like they got tagged in a tour post about the burial tour that we're doing. And they're like, oh, it's the wrong Orthodox. And I was like, this has been happening for years. And then we like messaged each other. They have a new record out called Proceed. They're like a doom metal band, and it fucking rocks. Like it is so heavy the whole time. Mike, you're gonna end up playing that shit over on the drives, I'm sure, just because it sounds like one incredibly long song, and that's kind of your thing. But yeah, it is fucking unreal.
I guess it's better to be confused with a 3-piece Spanish doom metal band than a UK Christian rapper, which is what we get confused with. Our Facebook group is kind of lit because New Breed is a Christian Southern country rapper from the UK.
I was looking you guys up and I caught on to that.
Yeah, our Facebook group is kind of wild. If they're coming in from the deep south, Tim and I are like, yo, we got to put some questions on the group application because this is not the demographic that they're looking for. Not at all.
Purgatory. Awesome. This wasn't when I was in Purgatory, but there is a Purgatory from France that's like sounds kind of like Ion Dissonance, basically. And they're pretty popular in like that world. And they played some show in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I guess the promoter thought he had booked the France Purgatory and had been pushing it as that. So all these kids, like mega fans of this small ass town, showed up with shit for them to sign. And so they just went with it. We're like, oh yeah, fuck, sick, yeah, cool. And they just like pretended they were that and played their regular set. And everyone was like, what songs are these?
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
amazing.
That is amazing. It's like, yo, how do you mess that up? All right, so we're running long. Let's get out of here. So want to thank Adam, Austin, Shiloh, and Mike for coming on. This has been really fucking cool. We're really great to have you guys. Thanks for sharing the record early with us. I think all of our listeners, all of our viewers are really going to enjoy it. Once again, Orthodox Learning to Dissolve. It's out Friday, August 19th. This will probably be out the Wednesday before to give it a little bit of a lead in. So everybody who's listening to us watching on YouTube, please check them out. We'll throw some links in the show notes. But once again, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Hope this was enjoyable. Looking forward to do it again. Until next time, this is the New Breed Podcast saying peace.
Later.
Peace.
Thank you.